ain't no gang, but I got shooters and I'm bang, bang. Ah, how are we doing, Star fam? Oh, I've been orange for so long. I'm like, what is it? Why am I orange? Is it what is it here? Because I had to work yesterday. And every time I say work, I had to do like acting stuff. That's work. And I was on camera with this background and I was orange and I'm in it and I'm like on this screen and I'm like, why the hell am I orange? Oh, it's time to get the eyebrows done too. I think I'm gonna do a tint. It's time for a tint. I like a tint. A tint lasts, a little henna tint. It lasts. Anyway, how are you guys? I gotta figure this out. Oh, is it because probably the color of my bed? Maybe that's reflecting. Okay, lighting 101. Let me fix this. Lighting 101. Let me fix this. How are you doing? Come on in the room. Whoa, come on in the room. Yeah, we got so much to talk about. So won't you come on in the room? Now you sing. Come on in the room. Whoa, come on in the room. Yeah, we got so much to talk about. I said, we got so much to talk about. I said, we got so much to talk about. So won't you come on in the room? Listen, what we got to talk about, I watch everything. Well, almost everything. I saw that Jessie Boo put up another video and I'm like, Jessie, I want her back on TV and out of these messy YouTube streets. I don't know Jessie like this. I don't know Jessie like this. Absolutely not. We are getting back in front of the camera, child. We are getting back in front of the camera. Is this who we are, Jessie? Is this who we are? Absolutely not. I don't. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Hey, Bria. Bria said, I'm ready for this. Bria. Hey, Courtney. Courtney said, I'm going to be honest. I'm mad at her and AD for AD co-signing. This is crazy. I will say the fact that AD brought it up, I said, oh, okay. Is this what reality with AD is about? For them to have smoke for Jessie and Riki is crazy when those women stood up for them. For her to have more smoke for them, child. Courtney said, and not Tyler is crazy. And for her to not even apologize for anything is crazy. And then for him to post to say, someone please interview me. Because there it is. They wanted to be reality TV stars. I'm sorry. You are not going on reality TV without absolutely thinking about what it's going to do for you career-wise. People are being dishonest. Not in this day and age. It is not the early 2000s when ain't nobody know what the hell was going on. You are very aware of reality TV and its impact. You are absolutely going on that show for an opportunity, and whatever happens, happens. But we got to be honest about that. Why protect him? He doesn't want to protect you. Well, we talked about this before. A lot of women are raised like this. Like a lot of women are raised to just be wives and mothers, right? And we've talked about how when Love is Blind, when they get these women late 20s, early 30s, that's when they are in gender psychosis, right? And it is some of the worst years for women because our childhood, we're saying goodbye to, not our childhood, but we're saying goodbye to our youth. And as a woman, youth is a privilege, right? Because men like younger women, not necessarily because they're better, but because a woman with an underdeveloped brain it's easier for a man to come in and redirect her life, right? Before she realizes how amazing she is, he gets in there early and redirects her life and make sure that all the power, anointing, knowledge, wisdom that she has is going to be at his disposal, right? And a lot of times this woman later finds out in her mid to late 40s, sometimes 60s, that she was the prize the entire time. And she either gets out of it or she stays in that misery and either poisons her daughter, normally the oldest, or she gets free of that and her children are able to see her become the woman that she always was supposed to be, but just later in life. So I understand Ashley's mindset because I am somebody who grew up in church and I saw that happen all the time, even to myself, right? Thank the Lord for freedom. But I saw that happen, where it's just like, of course, she's going to protect him until the end because that is what women like Ashley are raised to do. You are raised to put the man first, to protect the man. That's why she did all the things that she was doing in a relationship that still does not seem crazy to her. That's why Alexis on Love at the Lockup, when she was putting out that funny looking biracial, and she was just like, get your stuff. It was on, somebody sent me in on TikTok, and she was like, get your stuff. She was throwing him out because he was texting other girls. And she was like, get your stuff, please. Get all your stuff and get out the way so I can move the next man in. She's already in her mind preparing to take care of, pour into, build another man up, because that is how a lot of women in society are raised. So that mindset does not seem weird to me at all. It's very much the norm. Courtney said, how her and Tyler talk about them kids will never leave my mind, because that was uncalled for. Absolutely, because she still has some bitterness about the situation. She still has some bitterness about the situation. A lot of that interview to me was I thought it was a good interview, but a lot of it for her was performance, right? You want the people to know, oh, I finally got it. I don't, I know I was crazy and that girl, I'm out of it. We're all women here. There's a residue and there's still an open door. You're telling us that because you want to save face. But there's a residue there because how you talk about his baby, his baby mother, baby brother, whatever, how you talk about that situation as a woman, we can still see a little something, a little spiciness towards the other woman. Kimberly said, hey, Nikki, hey, sweetie, I hope you're well. How's your finger? Doing a lot better. See, now I just have a regular Band-Aid on because it's still a little painful. Like I hit it cooking earlier and I felt a little something, but it's healing up great. Hubby wanted to know, did you go seek medical care? Actually, I did not go seek medical care because I had already cleaned it and wrapped it up. And when I took it out, when I unwrapped it, I was concerned and I was just like, what is this thing going to look like? And it was already healing. So it was, I didn't think that there was a need, but if anything changes, I'm watching it. Urgent care is up the street. Urgent care is up the street. A Wonderful Life said, and I also have a meeting with my doctor and I'm gonna talk to them about this. A Wonderful Life said, hi everyone, excited to hear what y'all got to say about this mess. A mess indeed. The YouTube streets is messy with this. Everybody keep on making videos about each other. Messy. Bria said, Ashley's rebrand ain't fitting to work on me. Ciao. Sarah said, yay, I was hoping you talk about this. I literally was going to talk about it last night, but again, I was doing some acting stuff and it ran kind of late. But I did want to talk about it yesterday, but I was just like, let me get in now and talk about it now today, because I didn't want to wait too long. Lucky said, hey, Nikki, I hope your finger is on the mend. It absolutely is. Thank you. Victoria said, so excited for this one. Y'all messy. Alicia, hey. Pie said, hey, Nikki, missed your girl. I finally caught alive. Thank you for being here, Pie. Hey, JL. Hey, CM. Black Girl Maverick, what's up? Said, justice for Jesse and Ricky, my unblendables. Ciao. Love like you are. Just with you saying that, I just want you to know, I know that you guys consume Ricky and Jesse's content, and I know you guys are you're fans of them as well. I have thoughts on both parties, because I remember one time I was talking, I forget their name, but I was talking about an interview that one of you guys told me to do, and it was a reality TV star and some other YouTube person on here, I forget their name. And I critiqued both people. I critiqued the reality TV star and I critiqued your favorite YouTuber. Y'all did not like that. And I just want to be honest over here. The only people on this channel I will never correct is Jesus and Beyonce. Because I even correct my mama. I have to. Sometimes mama, I was going to say my mama, Jesus and Beyonce. But I was like, I have corrected Mama Star on here because, she be getting a little too comfortable. But that's about it. Palestinian Jesus with the 3B curls. I ain't never going to correct it. Harriet Tubman. Y'all can't say nothing crazy about her to me. Nat Turner, yeah, him too. And Beyonce. Everybody else can get this critique. I'm lying. Viola Davis and Angela Bassett. LeVar Burton. That's it. That's it. Everybody else gets critiqued because I'm looking at it from when I do these reviews, I'm not just trying to get my perspective, right? I'm also trying to see where everybody else is coming from as well. I want to give an overall perspective because I know that there are so many different ways of thinking in within the Star family, good ways. Like we're a good bunch over here, but I just want to make sure I'm getting all perspectives. So I will have critiques for everybody because there's some things I didn't like that Ashley did, and some things I didn't like that AD did. Then some things that I liked that they did. There's some things that I didn't like that Jesse and Ricky did, and there's some things that I did like. So just so you know, if it's gonna be too hard for you to hear me critique them, you can exit now. I understand. I'm getting the parasocial relationships. I get it now. Eva said, "Hey Nikki, hey Star fam, TGI Friday." Yes, indeed. I'm sorry, Love Like You Are. I hope I got this comment. Love Like You Are said, "Hi y'all, happy Friday and 3-day weekend." Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, and forgive me if anybody wanted this live to be a little bit earlier. I was going to do it earlier, but I realized that Memorial Day was Monday and I had to get to Costco. I am not going to Costco on a weekend. A weekend before a holiday, a summer holiday at Costco was hell. I said, absolutely not. Let me get in Costco. And it was a little crazy there, but I took it. I would not be in Costco on Saturday or Sunday or even Monday. Will they be open? Yeah, I was like, I got to get to Costco. Sorry. So I had to get to Costco first. Spency said, "Hey, Nikki and fam, girl, Ashley and AD displayed bird behavior, child." Sarah said, "Hey, Nikki, this is so messy on TikTok, and now it's moving to YouTube. I can't." Oh, it all started on TikTok? Is that what the videos? Because you guys, I hope you guys feel comfortable. If you know a bit more than me, I'll probably ask you to come up and speak on it. Because I've just been doing a lot of my research on YouTube because the videos were popping up. Because when I watch AD's interview with Ashley, all these other interviews start popping up, and then Jesse's, all of her videos start popping up, and then I think their name is Black Book. Everybody's videos started popping up, and I was like, "What is this?" Hey, Jalen, Tiana, what's up? Hey, sup people? Hey, Greta. Some people said this is such a nice haircut. Oh my God, thank you so much. It is not a haircut. My hair fell out. My hair fell out. My hair fell out. My scalp psoriasis was getting it's getting the best of me. And so like it like expanded on both sides of my head. So like my hair just could not grow. So I was losing a lot of hair. Thankfully, I'm on I had to change my diet because of it. I'm on an anti-inflammatory diet now. And my hair is doing better. Like my curls, the curls are popping. Like my grandmother's texture, she's hair. Like the curls, I'm loving the curls. That's the only thing that's like keeping me sane and keeping me from falling apart. You know, because as a woman, especially as a Black woman, your hair, like you can't lose your hair. Like you can't, right? It's like a big deal, especially a dark-skinned Black woman. I gotta have some hair on me. You know what I mean? So the only thing keeping me from crashing out is my curls. That's the only thing. So I have like medication I have to put on my hair. I'm doing a lot of aloe and tea tree oil treatments, sulfurate. I have a medicated shampoo and conditioner. And then I have these droplets that I have to put on. I was on something else, but it was so, I think it was a steroid. It was so strong. It was like changing the color of my hair, like my scalp. So no shade, but it was giving vitiligo on the back of my neck. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. So I had to get on something else. But thank you for thinking this is a haircut. It's not. My terrible diet and the stress of this industry took my hair. Well, she's going to come back. She's going to come back. We believe God. But thank you so much, some people. Whitney said, that's why I have my clip. That's why I have to wear my clip-ins now when I audition so I can still look like my headshots, because there is such a significant difference from the way my hair looks on my headshot to the way my hair looks now. Whitney said, yeah, I caught it live. Hey, Star fam. Hey, Whitney. Some people said maybe wipe the lenses. Me? Oh, okay. Hold on. I do have something for it. Hold on. You don't need no other party. I honestly, guys, I think it's the color because my bed, it's a tropical thing going on in my room right now. And I think it's my bed, the colors from my bed is reflecting on here, and that is reflecting on me. It doesn't help that I have an orange shirt on. So, at the seven of my fingers out there. Oh my goodness. When, oh, that's how I went to Cowboy Carter? Changed my life. When that song came on, the whole, like, Beyonce, we're ready for your rap era. The whole audience went crazy when we heard that. Ding, 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 oh, I ain't in no gang. Nonsense behaviors that come with the hair. Thank you guys for gassing up the hair. Thank you. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. Empress Energy for Life said, took a snap, woke up, caught alive. In the UK, 1:30 a.m. Hey, thank you for being here. Shamiko said, happy Friday, Nikki. Hope you had a wonderful day. Thank you. I did. I'm here for the mess. LOL. Love from St. Kitts. Thank you for being here. Hey, Pink Petals. Caroline said, hey, girl. Hey, your hair is so cute. Oh, thank you, guys. I love y'all. Saffron Sahara said, is it the haircut? Slimmer? Nikki, you look good. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, girl, because I've been going through it, but God is good. Cordelia said, Ashley sharing about her marriage this early was not on my bingo card. Why do you feel she shared this soon? So glad to catch this live, because I think she is sharing and putting herself out there more because, like AD, she wants to turn this reality, her 15 minutes, she wants to make them last longer and turn them into something, because it's very hard to go from a viral TV show to your 9 to 5 and go back into that life like everything is normal. It's much better and smart, like AD did, to capitalize on this time and see what you can get out of it, see what you can make it into. So she is starting her basically presenting herself to networks and letting them know that she is ready to be within these reality TV streets, like ready to make this a career. So that's why at the end, and we'll talk about it, she was just like, I'm ready. I could do another show, letting them know she's already within the Netflix family. But a lot of people who work on Netflix and do, especially the game shows, they really open themselves up to other reality TV shows on different networks. And for a lot of people, you could really make a career out of this. You could really make a career out of this. C. Golden said, we know AD is goofy. OMG, not your sick of AD. Bria said, and I was starting to root for AD. Then she had to pull this child. Hey, Miss Brown Sugar, how are you? Sophie Chatsalat said, I have not watched the interview, but I hadn't heard anything positive about it. I will say there were some positive things. I will say, I think this was a good interview. I will give them both that. Whoever was in AD's ear producing this, because let me tell you something is happening here. I think that there is, I haven't, maybe Ricky can do the investigation, but this is not AD. Like some management company came to her with this idea of a podcast. And, she added her little twang to it. But I don't feel like this is something that she put together. The production, the quality, the whole thing. This is not somebody's first podcast, right? This is her management, probably doing a really great job. And, who probably have done this before for other people, other, reality stars or other, no shade. I hate the A, B, and C listing, but just it's a descriptor. The Z-list celebrities are really helping them get off into the market to legitimize them. So I'm thinking that maybe this is that, because I'm just like, no way, this is your first podcast. No way. You got a whole set. No way. Something's happened. Like, this is somebody put this on you and made you the face of it. JL said, different hairstyle in every live, gay fashionista. Thank you. Literally, it's just because I've had work. So the hair had to look a certain way. Amiriel said, hey, Nikki, Ashley and AD are so male centered and it's sad. Well, to be honest with you, it's a lot of women. A lot of women are like that. That's why we have to decenter men. And for a lot of Black women, women of color, we got to decolonize our minds. Sarah said, and for Ashley to continue to imply that Tyler's baby mom is still being dishonest about stuff, why? And how do you know for a fact? And also to put out information about somebody's interactions with somebody intimately, where they have already said in a video that they didn't release certain information due to shame. I don't feel like she should have stepped in that territory. And so Tasha said, hello. Happy Friday, Nikki in chat. Thank you for being here. Miss Brown Sugar said, I'm glad y'all put me on both because Jesse's pod and ADs were going to be too long for me. I just didn't care enough. You know, it was good. At the only one I didn't watch all the way through is Jesse and Ricky's. And the only reason why I didn't was because I was coming off of AD's live, her interview with Ashley, and then theirs was just like the same amount of time, and I was just like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Maybe if I break it up, maybe. But it was just too much information for me. She said, this is so true. It's triggering. I agree with you. I didn't forget what I said, but thank you. Cameron said, hey, Nikki. Hey, fellow Star fam. I didn't even know that you were live. I didn't get a notification. Me either. And it's my channel. Thank you for being here, Cameron. Hey, Simply Simone. Happy you're here. Hey, Alicia. Actually, period. Spitzy said, girl, Alexis kicked Julius out on live. Oh, I saw that mess. We'll talk about it. We will talk about it on Monday. Cameron said Alexis is kicking Julius out as a scheme that Ted's set up. Yeah, probably to get on Love at the lockup. Smart girl. But we already talked about this. I don't think that she even cares for him anymore. She has the baby. And I think that was the plan the entire time. Miss Brown Sugar said Ashley didn't make sense from day one, maybe. Talking about Tyler got to pass the daddy test only later to reveal her dad was a deadbeat who's lucky he got invited. Then why do we or you give an F what he thinks? Indoctrination. Hey, is that Kimmy? Hey, Candace, how are you? Thank you so much. Is that Kimmy said, loving the new hair too. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. She said, AD looked significantly less beautiful to me while she was conducting this interview. Yeah. Oh, ciao. See, here's the thing. I felt like they were both being a bit messy. AD didn't necessarily piss me off like this. Ciao. Should I go back and watch it again? Simone said the rebrand ain't gonna work. The North remembers. Ciao. Courtney Fisher said, looks like it's like the majority is on Ricky and Jesse and hated that AD and Ashley interview. It's starting to seem like it. Rocky Whatever said, hi, Nikki. Hi, Star fam. I'm extremely disappointed in AD and Amber. We rooted for them. So AD and Ashley, we rooted for them so hard. And for them to say we prayed for their downfall was so sad to hear. Now, here's the thing, Rocky. I watched that. I didn't know that. So y'all think that they were talking about you guys? Because I thought she was talking about people who was like trolling her. Also, let me know how terrible she was in these streets, because I seen some stuff from her, but it's seeming like from the comments that she's done some bigger violations. Pink Petal says, this is your channel. Say whatever you got to say. No, I know. I'm just preparing because, I don't want you guys to feel like you need to defend one of your faves in here, because I'm literally just giving a perspective from all angles. Because again, like I said, I know we all have different ways of seeing things. So I want to make sure I'm tapping into all of those angles, because the Star family varies. We have different opinions. So someone said, girl, Matt. And the church says amen. The church, this is about to be a Love is Blind live. And the church says amen. And the church says amen. Oh, hallelujah. Okay, we're going to talk about this first, guys. We're going to talk about this first, then we'll get into the interview. Let me get through a couple more comments, and then we'll get into it. A Wonderful Life said, amen, Nikki. Our favorite YouTubers are not perfect, and it's your opinion. Thank you. It's my opinion. Yeah, they're not perfect. None of us are. Pi says, I'm here for the critique on everyone. Thank you. Yeah, I had to think about it. Hey, Ola. Thank you for being here. It's Latasha said, I still have never been in a Costco. I was going to get a membership at the end of last year, but haven't yet. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. Especially if I get there early. Oh, I love me a Costco. And they are constantly getting in products in bulk that I use on a daily basis. That's why I got Costco back in the day, because I was just like, if I'm going to be able to get this 24 pack, of soup for $10, I'm not going to pay $3 for it at the market. I'm going to get the 24 pack because I eat it all the time. And it has helped me through so many famines out here in LA. Costco is that girl. Miss Brown Sugar said, I never know where things start. Y'all are filling me in. Child, same. What am I doing for the 3D weekend? Grilling on Monday. I'm resting the entire time. Sunday night, I'm going to prep food for Monday, but that's it. That is it. I'm chilling. NC said, because you guys know, like, I'm a Pilates girl now. I'm a Pilates and I'm a bar girl now. And I'm telling you, it's kicking my behind. It kicks my behind to the point where I had to start taking classes at like 6:30, 7 a.m. because I needed to have at least I needed to have at least a 3-hour nap to recover from what I endured in those classes. And I used to take Pilates when I started taking Pilates at 18. I fell off when I moved to LA, but I was just like, oh, I used to do this. My body will remember. My body did not remember. That class is kicking my behind, but to God be the glory. NC said, hey, Ashley. Hey, Ashley did this interview for what? Did she really think that she could play victim and play in our faces and not be held accountable? Why she didn't have the sense to fade into obscurity, I will never know. Listen, what else did she do? Because I'm starting to feel like I'm missing some information. Always Prices said, I hate that. Have you checked on your thyroid? The same thing happened to me a few years ago. My thyroid was working, my immune system and Thank you. I have not. I will. Because I got a new doctor and everything, new healthcare plan and everything. So let me ask doctor about child. This is why it's so great to have a community of Black women. Oh, no, don't write that. Ask doctor about thyroid. Thank you, Jesus. Thyroid. Thank you. I will. Thank you so much. Always priceless. So real. She's gone. But she's coming back. It's that Kimmy said, you can't tell your hair is giving 90s baddie. Yes, me too. And it was not this bad. And then it just got real bad. And my former doctor was just like, let's change your diet. And so I'm on an anti-inflammatory diet now. But we'll see. Danny said, hey, Nikki.Star, I don't even watch Love is Blind, but I know via TikTok and Jessie Woo that what's going on. And I agree with Jessie Woo that they are some birds. Thank you. Miss Brown Sugar said, chow, is my vision bad? I ain't even noticed a problem. Oh, you're fine. Thank you, Spency. Hey, Tiffany. Happy Friday, Miss GG88. Absolutely. Love Like You Are said, OMG, I'm going to Cowboy Carter tour tomorrow. Can't wait. You're going to have a great time. It is so great to be a Bayhive, be a part of Bayhive. Like, I just had a great time. The audience was so great. The show was so great. Seeing Blue Ivy and Rumi. in real time. It was amazing. Beyonce's a star. Last of the great ones. You're going to love it. Everybody's outfits was killing. I didn't have a great outfit. Here's why. I got tickets at the last minute. I'm planning to go see her in Vegas. We're going to see how those tickets look, but I'm planning on doing that, and that's when I'll be able to wear my entire outfit that I had planned. But I still had a good time. The GG88 said Ashley wants to come up. She doesn't want to go back to sit in a cubicle. Absolutely. And I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to either. Miss Brown Sugar said, now my only thing about Jessie is she's real quick to not just critique, but to really go deep into insults, especially read other Black folks. I could do without that, but that's just me. Yeah, there were some things in that live that I was just like, ooh, do we really want to say that? Sarah said he also posted he wants to go on a podcast soon. Yeah, they don't want to go back to the regular jobs, and I get it. Miss Ronchester said, I thought AD's pod was linked to the franchise. No, it does look like it, doesn't it? It looks like it. I thought so too, but I'm not sure. Maybe because this setup, it's too professional. It's too seasoned. I'm like, this is not you. This is somebody's podcast and they made you the face of it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I think so. Oh, she signed to Kensington Gray. They're good. They're really great for influencers or like reality stars. They're really, really good. Spency said, it's giving Netflix gave her the podcast to control the narrative. Well, hey guys, we don't talk too crazy about Netflix and NBC. They keep the lights on over here. So, I won't let y'all have your freedom, but let's keep it cute. Let's keep it cute. JS said, Nikki, you were making me a little nervous, LOL. I'm so curious on your take. Listen, I didn't think my take with that other YouTuber was that bad. People were just like, now, wait a minute, Nikki. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Courtney said the reason why I feel like AD did horrible is because she did no research for this interview. She didn't watch the videos of Ricky and Jessie did. She didn't watch his baby mother's videos. Yeah. I did feel like it was not as informed as it probably should have been. For such a setup like that, I'm expecting something a little bigger. I'm not bigger, but I'm expecting a bit more professionalism for a setup like that. You know what I mean? Like, we're not in your garage. You're literally on a set that you're going to in some studio in LA. So I'm just expecting a bit more of professionalism. So I absolutely understand. KB said, Ashley said she wore the whole community on her back, being educated and classy. She was speaking directly to Black women in our image. Yes, she was. Spency said, 80 like Jessie's hate comments that were on her page. Oh, y'all got the tea. Courtney said, Nikki, Ashley, she was bad. Speak your piece, please, but I want to give you tea because we watch all the tea. She was nice, nasty in these comments. Please let me know. Please. Whatever you have, give it to me. Nora said, hi, Nikki. So glad to catch this live. I'm looking forward to hearing your perspective. Thank you. Simply Simone said, literally said she's finally free. Yes. Bar is the worst. I'm telling you, it's like I fit like little muscles that I never engaged with my entire life. I'm like, why are we working this? Shaking. Like Pilates, I'll do a shake on certain things, especially when we get to the 100, I'm shaking. Bar, everything we do, I'm like, I'm shaking in every movement we do. It ain't no joke. It's getting to the point where like I'm having to force myself to eat because my abs hurt so much. I don't want to eat. Even laughing. I don't want to do it. Miss Brochick said, I love Pilates back when I could afford those reformer classes. But the way my budget is set up these days, understandable. Jasmine Author said, Ashley's interview with the Vowel Files was nasty and not a good showcase of her character. Now, thank you about that because I didn't know she went on that man's podcast. I want him to get a job. Always Prices said thyroid test. Thank you. Oh my God. My phone wrote down everything that I've been talking about. My phone. OMG. So let me delete this entire thing. Oh my God. I never even thought to check the thyroid. So, thyroid, thyroid test, TSH, T3, T4. Okay. Just say it runs in your family so they can check. I will. I will. Thank you so much. Again, always priceless. Just Jonathan said, I think the problem many have with Ashley is that she was unapologetically writing with the F them kids train with her man, her man, her man. Never. This is the thing. You can never do anything behind a man. He will embarrass you. Just like I told y'all, I could be married in love with this nigga. Y'all would never know. Y'all would never. He not gonna embarrass me. He not gonna embarrass me. Just Shonda said the reality is that Ashley and AD are the same person. If their seasons were switched, AD would have hitched with Tyler, and Ashley would have been swinging from Clay's nuts. Yikes! But I agree. Birds of a feather. I feel like they are very similar. Pink Pebble said maybe I need to try that diet. I'm at my wits end with this scalp. I will say there have been some improvements. I will say that. Hair started coming back quick when I changed my diet. Sarah said, I think it's also the whole, I think I know more about my man and my marriage than y'all. Apparently not. And the shading of the side original family, yeah. Hey, Alana, how are you? JL said, I used to like Jessie Wu's Love is Blind reviews until she incorporated parts of clips into the video. It becomes way too long. But you know what? Like, I have been thinking about doing that because a lot of people do like that. To the point where I feel like I should like a smaller review with clips and pictures and then a live. I don't know. I don't know. Nicole said Jessie can be harsh, but she's no liar. Now I'll give you that. Sarah said, I agree that Jessie goes a bit far sometimes. Just John said, AD may have gotten the same people that orchestrated Stassi's podcast glow up. Probably. But there's definitely a production company behind this. A production company, a management team, something is there. I'm awake said, I agree with the thoughts that AD is a Netflix. Aye said, hey, NikkiStar fan from Singapore. What's up? I'm here for a friend's wedding. It's beautiful here. I highly recommend Singapore. That is absolutely on the list. Danny said, now I don't agree with Jessie making fun of AD's leave out because it's counterproductive. However, Ashley and AD are still birds. Listen. Let them know. Miss GG88 said, wait, which other YouTuber were you beefing with? I missed it. I wasn't beefing. I just like critiqued their interview skills. Again, I can't think of the person. It was so long. It was early in my YouTube days, but the Star family didn't like that. Spency said, my bad, Nikki, let me keep it cute. You know, because you just never know. Literally, somebody found me, a casting director found one of my YouTube videos and reached out to me about a show. Let's keep it cute over here. M said, AD is upset because her man is cool with Jessie. What? That's weird. Yeah, she talked about that. Because I remember watching the interview. I was just like, well, actually, what happened for everybody to be so upset with you? And then she was just like, well, no, I made this comment and it meant this. I'm like, no, girl, you was telling them, shut up, you don't have a man. Yeah. I just heard about that. Y'all know me. I'm trying to get, I don't like paying for concert tickets. I'm sure I like to go through connects first to see if I can get in. And if not, then I'll get a ticket. But I absolutely do plan on seeing them live. Simply Simone said, been doing Pilates for 4 months now, and I'm feeling that it's crazy. because you don't think you're doing a lot, but you'll feel it. You'll feel it. M said the real tea is that for the perfect match, Ali played in her face and settled with her. Oh my gosh. We have strong opinions about Miss AD. Miss GG88 said Ashley went on a whole press tour telling us to mind our business. So, oh, okay. I'm glad I got in the comments before I started because now I'm getting a bit more context. Just John said, I think people are expecting AD to be more elevated than she is. AD's pre-Love is Blind job was pretty much the same as Vanderpump Rules cast member, former cheerleader, restaurant worker, dating her boss. Now, Star family, Lord. M said Ashley is also upset because she was forced to divorce Tyler. She would that part. I absolutely agree. Had everybody not had an opinion about how foolish she looked in this marriage, I think she would still be there. Rain said, I'm late, but a family member of mine suffered from hair loss for a skin infection she contracted while teaching. She picked me up from school sobbing every day. Hair trauma is real. Absolutely. Absolutely. LSS said, why I think that AD and Ashley are dumb as hell. Ricky and Jesse messed up the viewing experience. Let's just watch the show. They were like vultures. Here is the thing. What we have right now is, although it may seem like vulturism, it probably is, but these people make a lot of money with these videos. And you will make a lot of money having a very strong opinion. Now, for me, and I always like to use myself as an example because, I don't know other people and it's not right for me to like come in with my opinions about them, not knowing them in a whole situation. I'll use me for an example. I know very well what I could be pulling in if I got up here on this platform and said some really nasty things. Because we are living in a season right now where trolls are winning for now. Every demon has its day. So I can either come up here, be real, be myself, give an opinion, and move on, right? Or I could come up here and be like, them dumb, crusty hoes, they ain't never gonna have a man. They don't know what they talking about. And I actually was on her mama's Facebook and I saw her prom pictures. She been ugly since she was a teen. Now you guys, the Star family, will probably be like, oh my God, that's terrible. But I'm telling you, for every one of you, there's about 30 other people who will eat that up. That's how we got the president we got. Now, he says stuff, a lot of us are like, oh my God, we're clutching our pearls. But then there's like 50 other people, for every one of us is clutching our pearls, that's just like, oh, we love this. Give us more. Misery loves company. Now, even if you're not that kind of person, you probably don't believe half the things that you're saying, but you're seeing the numbers go up. You're seeing your videos go viral by saying these mean things. Like you could probably, be like, oh my God, I wouldn't have wore that. That's not the cutest thing, right? And you get a couple of views. But if you sit up there and say she looks like a welfare queen, the outfit is, the quality is so poor. Who made this? Helen Keller? Wrong. But it's going to get a lot of traction because of the season we're in. We're in the season where meanness wins for now. For now. So it's like, yes, it seems like, yes, they're being vultures by getting in this lady's business and talking about her a certain way. But people are eating it up. They're making a lot of money saying these things, going out of the way. I remember back in the day, Funky Dineva. I remember I remember the first video Funky Dineva did. The first video, he was in this bathroom drunk. My hair's laid, honey. I remember that. And I started following him for it because I thought it was so funny. I thought he was a comedian. So I was following him because I just thought it was so funny. But I'll never forget when he did, he posted a video where he was outside the courtroom where Sheree was. Like, Sheree was like losing her home or something. Something was happening with her home. And he was outside of the courtroom waiting for her to get outside of the courtroom. And when she got outside the courtroom, he followed her and just like was like making fun of her and berating this lady. And my stomach dropped. My stomach dropped. I was like, what is this? Like, I was so uncomfortable because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this lady, like, we're humiliating her at this point. Like, I was here for like the fun little comedic reviews about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I'm like, now we're going to the courthouse where this lady is fighting to keep her home. She doesn't have the best personality, but like, why are we doing this? Why does your fan base want you to do this? Like, I was so uncomfortable. Immediately unfollow him. I still consumed his content from time to time, but I was just like, I won't be a follower. You won't count me in your numbers, but you can count me in your views, because I still watch his content, and I still do from time to time. But that just changed so much for me. And I'm just like, oh my God. But I'm telling you, he blew up so much from doing that. Like, when his content shifted from just it being comedy to going to those levels to, really just getting in the trenches, he took off. And I watched somebody who was just very funny, very like impartial during these reviews, get so mean and say some of the nastiest things. Now, I don't think he's actually like that, right? I know people who I'm very close to who have worked with him. He's not like that. But his audience really eats up him being nasty or saying like things that are not really cool. There's another guy now, I don't know his name, but he's kind of taking on, the Funky Dineva, the current Funky Dineva approach to things. And it's just so nasty. And it's like a lot of Black women watching this Black man, say horrible things about other Black women. And, we can say this is like, oh, we don't like this, but there are a lot of people out there who do. Because the season we're in, people who have been jealous of other people's success, people who have hated to see people who they didn't think winning, they are finally now getting a voice to their jealousy, their resentment, their hate. They're finally getting somebody who will speak to how they feel. Whether their feelings are right or not, they finally have a voice and they just go after it. And I don't believe that a lot of these people that are saying these things are making this kind of content feel this way, but it makes them money. It makes them money. Last example, I believe his name is Sneeko. He's a YouTuber on here, and he says like wild, crazy things like misogynistic, racist, just really inappropriate things. But it makes him a lot of money. He has like millions of followers on YouTube. I recently saw, not recently, like a year or so ago, I saw a video of him where he went to some baseball game and these little boys surrounded him and they started repeating back to him things that he was saying on his YouTube channel. He was just like, trans women are awful, right? Right. And they're looking at him for approval. And then one of the other boys was like, yeah, we need to kill all trans women. Right. And then another boy was just like, yeah, we need to just kill all women, period. Women are evil. Like, they just started repeating back to him the things that he was saying. Now, he was just saying this stuff probably like he probably feels this way, or he was just saying it to like outrage content, right? Rage bait. And it was working for him financially. But I'm watching this guy look at the people who work into me as content, these little boys, and they're just saying all of this nasty stuff back to him. He was mortified. He was like, no, that's not right. Don't say that. No, women aren't bad. It's okay. No, we don't want to kill trans people. And the kids were like confused. They were like, no, that's what you said. Kill trans people are bad. Let's kill them. And the kids could not understand that their hero, who they heard all this stuff from, was telling them no. It was like this confusion. Then this was this realization with him. But you know what? When he got back from that, he went back to the same content because that's what makes him money. So, we might not like Jessie Woo's delivery, but if she was sitting up there being kind and impartial, do you think she have the number of YouTube subscribers and views that she has now? You might not have liked the leave out comments, but there's 20 other sisters who enjoyed it and paid her in her chat for that comment alone. It happens. It happens. Miss Gigi88 said, I actually like long videos. I put my headphones in and do my thing. Me too. This is what I used to do. I told you, when I worked at that insurance job, this is what I did. This is what I did. Put it in, and that got me through the entire day. Miss GG88 said, as a married woman, I want to know where the Secret Wives Club is. Where this Secret Wives Club is. I'm 17 years in. What did I say to make you say that? Jesse's interview, Spencer said Jesse interviewed Ali. They are legit friends. Weird. And again, guys, this could also just be a setup to just fuel views. They could probably all be good friends and just doing this to fuel views. It happens all the time. El Boogie said, wait. I'm late and starting from the beginning. Did you cut your hair? I didn't. It just fell out. It just fell out. Josh Yonda said 100%. If everybody had ignored Ashley and Tyler after the fact, she would still be with him, Dusty and all. Absolutely. But a lot of women are like that. A lot of women are not in relationships with men that they are in love with because they're friends, family, community. Everybody told them they were being a fool. But if nobody said anything, she'd still be there. Jasmine said, I don't even think Ashley's decision was because of public opinion. I think it was because Tyler wasn't supporting her emotionally. Sounds like he checked out of the marriage and that forced her hand. I will say from this interview, it seemed like he gave her no choice but to divorce. It seems like he was not fighting for her. Thank you, Nicole. Name twin. I try. Every demon has their day. We're going to see it. We're going to see this shift. Everybody's being pushed into conservatism, right? Everybody's going to be pushed into this bubble. And then there's going to be, I don't know what it is, but it's going to be one moment where everybody wake up and the shift will happen quickly. Spencer said they came to Riki with the information and she fact checked it. I think they are credible, but they are just opinions. All righty. Coco Empress said, I love your reviews. Even the Hollywood Reporter did a piece on Riki's reviews. YouTube media is rising. Oh, absolutely. Been rising for a very long time. Miss Brown Sugar said, to be honest, I don't think Ashley would have gone for Clay's version of foolishness. Clay was honest to a fault about how uninterested, uncommitted he was. Tyler was a typical DC dude. If you don't think she would have fell for the same mess that Clay was feeding AD, come on now. She fell for that mess from Tyler and he don't look nothing like Clay. She would have still been there. If it was Clay, she would have still been there. John said, Jesse and Riki were far, far, far from the only ones talking about cast members. Most of the information is sent by regular folks and people who know cast members. They see it to bloggers. I will say it is kind of weird that she's pointing out Black women when there were a lot of white YouTubers and TikTokers talking about this stuff as well. Specifically, I'm thinking of one white woman she never had smoke for. And that lady was always telling her business on TikTok. Courtney said, let me just say, because I watched the videos, I'm not coming for anyone. I'm not coming for anyone. Vultures is a little strong. They were not trying to hurt that girl. The smoke they had was Tyler. They only came for Ashley when they kept lying and denying them kids. Thank you for the clarity. Jasmine said, I don't agree with all of Jessie takes, but I will say in her reviews, she kept saying Ashley was a victim because she wasn't aware of all the tea on Tyler before she decided to marry him. We all know that those kind of women that get mad at the woman, at other women and not their man. You get mad at the best friend telling you he's not a good guy instead of the man that's doing you dirty. Male-centered. That's what it is. We're just dealing with a male-centered woman. Miss Brown Sugar said, presents one way, uses the Black professional lingo to embellish his position, yada, yada, yada. And he's apparently good at hitting a lick off his lies. True. Jasmine said it was after all the tea come out and Ashley said she knew the facts when Jesse turned on her. Oh, thank you for that tidbit of information. Simply Simone said it's the same thing with TikTok and the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni situation. The Tory trial. People see hate farming as monetization. That's all it is. It's just rage bait, hate farming. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let me tell you something. That young man, woo! Funky not even can't touch him. The things he be saying, I'm like, but Black women be in there loving it. And he lives very well off of that. Simply Simone say, yep, they want to be the digital Wendy Williams when they're just slimy solo TMZ. Absolutely. That's why TikTok is changing the rewards qualifications. Oh, that's going to start some stuff. Ms. Marshall said, now Riki comes with receipts, proof, timelines, and screenshots, and only released info that had corroboration. Don't be mad at the messenger. I will say this. I've seen some of her content. I was actually surprised that her name was called or, that it was alluded to that she was like a problem because I've never seen her as being a problem. From what I've seen, maybe there was something else that Ashley saw, but I'm just like, She's one of the most tamest people that I've seen. Blue Jay said, I enjoy a little Kiki, but one thing I always promise, couldn't be a hater, period. And not all attention is good attention. I do enjoy Jessie Wu, and I do think she is one of the people who uses her voice. I do agree with that. F. Tiffany said, look at white women who called a black child at N-word, got $1 million. Yep. Yep. Nora said at NikkiStar TV, Ashley said what she liked the most about being married is being a part of the secret wives club. Okay, thank you. It was weird. Yes, for a lot of women, marriage is more important than the husband. She liked being married because it's a status symbol. Candace said, I do watch Jessie semi-regularly. I've never heard her say anything negative about AD or Ashley until they talked about her on the podcast. Well, they opened the chamber. They opened the chamber. Just John said, based on the information from Tyler's exes, including his kids, checking out is what he does. Ugh, ciao. Dahlia said, people hate moderation. You were just getting more conservative until we got tired of it and swing all the way back to liberalism. Same old, same old. Oh, happens all the time. Happens all the time. We're going to end with Courtney. Courtney said she's mad at them because they talked about to the baby's mother. Oh, okay. So that's where it all started. She did mention it, but she was making it seem like it wasn't that big of an issue. Thank you so much, Courtney. Now, let's get into it. First, we are going to start off with Love is Blind. Colleen Reed and Matt Bolton announced their split after nearly 4 years of marriage. Hallelujah. Won't he do it? She's finally free. Listen, I'm going to celebrate this woman. She's probably a Trumper. Laying down with that man every day, ain't no way you didn't vote for that orange demon. I will say this, though. I'm glad that she's out of that relationship. The last time that I saw her was on the reunion with him for their season. It did not look healthy. And I'm interested to see if she's going to start talking. AD, get on it. If she's going to start talking about that relationship, because a lot like Ashley, I feel like she was protecting this man and saying a lot of things and coming after a lot of people who were speaking on him and how it looked as if he was treating her. So I want to know if it's going to be the same kind of interview where it's just like, all right, you guys were right. You guys are right. And listen, she don't have to get into it, but I would like to know what happened. I'm gonna be honest. I would like to know what happened. I was there from the beginning of the relationship. When it started, I was at the wedding. Now I need to know about the divorce. In due time, at your leisure. But I'm going to be honest. I want to know what happened. What happened? What made you finally wake up and choose freedom? Let's read this. The couple who met and got married on season 3 of Love is Blind announced their split in a joint statement on Instagram on Friday, May 23rd. I'm kind of not shocked that they're here. I'm shocked that they lasted 4 years, but it's just like they were married and she still had kept her apartment. Right? We wanted to share something personal, and this is not easy to do, but after nearly 4 years together, we decided to end our marriage and move forward on our own paths. We've been separated for some time now and have been tried our best, I guess, to work through everything privately with care. This was an incredible, difficult decision, not one we made lightly. It came with a lot of thought, and it has been an emotional process for both of us. They continued. We met in the most unique and unexpected way, and we'll always be grateful for the love and memories we shared. There's not one thing we could change, and we continue to have deep respect and care for one another. The joint statement ended with them thanking everyone who supported them through the years and asking for compassion as we navigate the situation. I absolutely give Colleen passion as she navigates the situation, because I also think that there was something nefarious going on in that marriage. I still stand by. In due time, when you're ready, I still want to know what happened. Don't bring me into the relationship when everything is gravy, and then when it falls apart, all of a sudden you want your privacy. I'm gonna let you have it because I feel like there was some things going on there. I'm gonna let you have that privacy, but for so much, After that, I'm going to go to Ricky's channel to see what she had to say about this relationship. Yeah, shortly after their season. Yep, here goes Colleen. Obviously, this was an old interview. People is just referencing, uh, people is referencing this because people were just saying they should not have gotten married and the marriage looked a little rocky. Colleen, obviously, there were a lot of conversations that you guys didn't see. I'm glad that we did go through those little stirrups though, because it allowed us to learn how we handle certain things. Let me tell you something, women. Relationships should be butterflies and rainbows, even the trials and tribulations, right? Even the trials and tribulations. You should still, this should be somebody that you should want to weather the storm with. Little hiccups, and when y'all call it hiccups and all of these things, a hiccup is maybe somebody losing a job. You know, a little rough patch is maybe, somebody losing a parent, right? A hiccup is maybe somebody struggling with their mental health. A hiccup is not him cheating or beating you. A hiccup is not him publicly and within house humiliating you, making you feel small. That ain't no hiccup. That's just straight disrespect. That man hates you. So we just got to change our mind on what the understanding of, like, what are the rough patches in relationships? What are they? Some rough patches are, you know what? You fall out of love. And some of y'all shouldn't fall back in love. Y'all should just wrap that up, right? Oh, we got to try to make this relationship work. And maybe it's not working because you guys have reached the path in your journey where you should go. Marriage, for a lot of people, does not need to be forever. It's, you know what? This is where we go because now we are different people. Now we can either move on and go to different partners who are where we're at in our journey now, or we could do this life alone. You don't have to stay in a situation just because of a marriage or kids. Those hiccups, the way that man was talking about that woman while on camera, disrespecting and humiliating her, that ain't a rough patch. That's disrespect. He don't like you. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're glad she's free. We're glad she's free because that Rumpelstiltskin was scary. He was very scary on that show. Me too. Like, no shade. It was giving me ID channel, and I talked about it in my review. It was giving me ID channel. Amario said, I knew that was coming. Good for Colleen. Amen. That's another thing. That's what I want to know, Colleen. Did you ever move in with him? Courtney says, yes to Colleen being free. Dang to the Trumper part if she is. Matt wasn't voting for Kamala, and neither was Colleen. Spency said, Matt scared me so bad. Same. Miss Brown Sugar says, yes, it always looked and felt unsettling watching Colleen and Matt together. Yep. Just John said, the Colleen and Matt relationship always scared me when we saw them side by side. Scary stuff. That reunion, terrifying. Before she would speak, she would look at him. Girl, what? No. I'm very surprised it lasted 4 years. And I want to know, AD asked this, I want to know how long were they separated? How long? Just John said it's giving Colleen hasn't been living with that man since 20. Yep. Like, how long were they separated? Because sometimes for women, especially women who are in emotionally, physically, or mentally abusive relationships, the only way for them to leave that relationship is for that man to find somebody else. That's the only way. So maybe separation, saying we're separated, but saying that you still have access to me was probably the safest way to get her out of that relationship or get to safety. And then when he probably found somebody, probably at work, when he found somebody and no longer was so fixated on her, he could then move on and she could finally be free. Some situations like that do happen. Dolly said, not one thing you changed, but you're divorcing, huh? Child, she's probably saying whatever she could to get out of that mess. JL said, happy for Colleen, but honestly not interested in their stories. Matt, of course, is an incel. Absolutely. And Colleen irked me when she spoke back in Love is Blind. I do not feel safe around them as a POC woman. Absolutely. Absolutely. right? Because this is a volunteer position. This is a volunteer position. This is not your parent that you like gotta tough it out with. You know what I mean? There's no blood relation there. This is a volunteer position. You are volunteering to be in this person's life for some time. Who the hell says it has to be forever? The minute it no longer serves you, the minute it's no longer fun, the minute it's no longer something that you want to continue to do, the minute it becomes a chore, get out. I don't understand that. Get out. And again, I know that breaking up and divorcing it's a process. I get it. I'm not saying it's going to be quick or anything, but I'm just like, there should always be an option for you, especially as a woman, that, oh, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. Always. It's always an option. You do not have to die in that mess. Just John that says struggle love is never positive. Never. It's always more struggle than love. Absolutely. And that is a type of love that they always try to sell to Black women specifically. You got to struggle to be with him. I'm not struggling with that man, especially if he met me and I'm not struggling. Why the hell would I decide to struggle with you? And I'm not on my own. What are we talking about? Always Prices said, I literally said, thank gosh she's safe when I saw the headline. Yep. Always Prices also said, I need her to move. You know how crazy men act when you... Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Sarah said, it's crazy because at first people were like, boo, Colleen always talks about being a ballerina. To, oh, we need to help Colleen. Yep. He switched up. I think it was as soon as he as we met his parents, the mom was the one that was freaking me out. I was like, why are you trying to get rid of him so much? Why are you trying to get rid of this guy? NC said, Colleen always gave blink twice if you, yep. Monique said, you hit the nail on the head. I heard an interview where a woman asked what finally made her leave an abusive relationship was that the man moved on to another woman. What's the psychology of that? Well, she knows that if he's no longer hyperfixated on her, she's safe. It's the saddest thing. She knows she's just like, okay, well, he's hyperfixated on this person, so now I can get out of this. He's no longer thinking about me because it becomes an obsession. And so now that he's moved on to somebody else, now she can quietly get away. Nora said, marriage has become the equivalent of a long time suffering relationship, especially for the woman. It's just a baseline expectation for so many women. So sad. Yep. Blue Jay said, I hate to say it, women have to move like men who are emotionally intelligent and mature to know your needs and are willing to leave. Yep. The self-preservation is scary, low in women sometimes. Absolutely. Because men will love you and be all in love with you in a relationship, especially in the marriage, then you get sick. All of a sudden, he don't feel like it no more. All of a sudden, he's cheating. And when you find out that he's cheating, just like, oh my God, your wife was sick. Why would you be cheating? I had needs too. What? They would divorce you with the quickness on your sick bed because you can no longer serve them as a wife. In their minds, that's you can't do those things. You can't clean up for him. You can't have sex with him. So why is he there? Who was it? There was a nurse on TikTok, and you probably guys all saw the video too, where she talked about she was somebody who worked in hospice care, and she talked about how there were so many women who like will come to the facility, hospice or like a nursing home or something like that, and like as soon as the woman got sick, the husbands would divorce the woman while they were still sick, while they were passing. He didn't want to be in it. He had somebody else he wanted to move on to. He didn't want to wait for her to get better. He didn't want to wait for her to recover, or he didn't even want to wait for her to pass. Gotta move like them men. Dahlia said, struggle should be external, not internal. You know, for rich or for poor, and not cheating and yep, not cheating and beating. What? Just John said that sickness is how rich or poor keeps women in the chokehold. Oh, if I ever grace a man with my presence as a wife, I'm taking all that mess out. Absolutely. For richer or poorer, for who? I wasn't poor when I came to this relationship. Notice I said women because it damn sure doesn't tie men down. B. Smith. I hated how such an iconic woman spent the last days of her life on this earth. I hated that for her. I hated that for her. That B. Smith situation fundamentally changed me. Fundamentally changed me. The way he treated that woman. Mm. Miss Brown Sugar said, Amen and I shade to reframing what hard times mean. When your ups and downs were self inflicted, repeated cheating, selfishness, breakup, makeup cycles, that's maybe not worth fighting for. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dolly said, most vulnerable times for a woman with a man is pregnancy and chronic illness. Yup. Yup. We're going to end with Spency and then we'll get into the rest of the lies. Spency said, the fact that it's known men leave when their wives are sick makes me so sad. But I love that we are all in on the same TikTok. I'll go. Absolutely. The song that we're on the same wavelength. I love it here. Let's get into this interview with Ashley and AD. I will say again, AD's podcast, What's Reality, very professional, which is why I feel like there's, like we talked about, I feel like there's some funding probably coming from Netflix or some, management company or production company that really got it together. Because I just do not think that this is fully her idea. I think she has input, but it's just the production quality of this. That no. I'm not. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I also think that there was a producer in her ear having her ask these questions because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know AD to be a host, right? A journalist. I don't know that. She's doing a good job, though. I'm not going to say it's not a good job, but I feel like there is some financial backing behind this and some professional backing behind this podcast to make it what it is. And it works. It looks good. It looks good. I felt like she did a really good job. And then it got to a point where I was just like, okay, this is no longer the producer now. This is you and how you feel. And this is based off the conversations that you've had with Ashley. Up until that point, it was absolutely the producer in her ear telling her what to ask. Then she went rogue, but we'll get into that later. Overall consensus of this entire interview is that men lie without regret. They lie without regret. Tyler lied about everything. A pathological liar. Ashley opens up talking about how she is filing for divorce and she's in therapy. Still shocked that she married that man, because when I was watching that show, I absolutely thought that she was not going to go through with it. When she found out that she was a sperm donor, after they had been intimate, after they were living together, she still made the decision to be with this man. So, or marry him, legally marry him. So that let me know that Ashley was more about, like how you guys talked about in the comment section, being a wife and being part of that club. Because thankfully, in this season, that status, that being a status symbol, doesn't hold the weight that it used to. But, for still a lot of people, marriage is a status symbol because it means that you're taking something serious, right? So, especially for men in the workplace, you being a father and a husband means that you will be dedicated to a job that gives you a certain paycheck, because you're going to need that to care for the family. So you will be more trusted than the single guy who's just working to make a quick buck, or working to making a certain kind of money to fuel his life as a single man. He's not going to be as trusted as the guy that's a father and a husband, because a single guy will work, but he's going to have standards, right? He's going to get to the point where if that job is requesting more of him or burning him out, he's just going to find a better job. The guy that's a husband and a father, even though he hates that job, even though it works him to the bone, even though that job takes advantage of him, it gives him a check that allows him to take care of his family. So that's what the status symbol comes from. And the same thing for women. A married woman just has, not as much today, but had a very high status symbol, because it means that you are somebody who has someone who you are in a committed relationship with, right? So we know that the man is the head, the woman is the neck. So basically, you're controlling and running an entire house while rearing up children. So you have responsibilities. So you are likely to stay or commit to a situation or commit to a living situation, a town, a neighborhood, and your spending will go into that community because the money that the man gives you to take care of the home, you're going to spend on those certain things. You're going to be going to Target. You're going to be going to Walmart. You're going to be going to Costco. You're going to be buying things in bulk. You're going to be buying a billion Lunchables, right? So a lot of things, a lot of advertisements, a lot of home items are geared towards you just because of spending, and that's where the status symbol comes from you. So they're going to make a lot of things for married women because they know that those women are basically paying all the bills with the husband's money, of course, but they know that woman is the one that is slicing, is not slicing, right, what is that? It's not swiping that credit card, swiping that debit card, paying the cash. So it's going to be more focused on you because single women don't spend like you, right? So they're not going to, or not spend like you, but they don't spend like you consistently like you do in those areas. You are going to continue to spend money on a certain thing because that is a need. A single woman may buy it, but she's not going to continue to buy that thing because she's not buying for a house. She's not buying for a home. She's just buying for her. So more because we live in a capitalist nation and we live and abide by consumerism. The married woman is going to get a better status symbol than the single woman. It's not because she is better. It's because she's a consistent spender in a certain area. They know, the companies that run this nation know that they are going to get a dedicated amount of money from this woman because she's running a household. So they're going to focus on her, give her this fake symbol, this fake status, and make her think that she is better off than the single woman, not based on anything other than how she spends her money. It's the same thing for the men. For the women, it's what she spends. For the men, it's the labor. So our society gives these two people, the married man and the married man and the married woman, they give them this status, this fake status symbol, just because they can exploit these two. So single people are bad because single people will make decisions based off of what suits them. They don't have to make decisions that have to suit everybody. They're going to make decisions that's going to suit them. So you're not going to be able to exploit a single guy at a job like you can exploit a husband and a father. You're not going to be able to depend on a certain amount of money from a single woman like you're going to be able to depend on a certain amount of money from a married woman. So society gives them these status symbols, and without properly educating yourself or looking at why society gives them this status and realizing that there's the only thing that's really fueling this status is consumerism and taking advantage of people within the workforce. If you don't know that, you will run and strive to get that status. So although Tyler is a deadbeat bum, Ashley overlooked that and looked at, I'm going to be a wife. I'm going to be in that club. I'm going to have that status, not knowing that as a woman, it's a status that you shouldn't even run for because it's just a status that just wants to take advantage of you financially. But in her mind, she's going to be a wife. No matter how she got there, it doesn't matter because she's a wife. So that's why she endured what she endured. Had it not been for public opinion, she would have still been there because that club is more important to her than actually her own freedom and happiness. Sad thing about this is hearing Ashley's situation and how everything planned out is that his family was in on the lies with him. And I absolutely believe her. I absolutely believe her, which is why we all have the understanding of, I don't, I'm closer to my mama's side of the family. Here's why: because a man's side of the family will move how that man moves. They will move how that man moves. If that man is a deadbeat, the family is going to be, his family is going to be a deadbeat with him. If that man is a liar, his family is going to be a liar with him. If that man is an abuser, his family is going to be an abuser with him. So I absolutely believe that Tyler's family protected him and, tried their best to make Ashley believe all of the lies that Tyler was telling her. Here is why: they know that Ashley is a good catch. They know that Ashley is a good catch. The families of men who are single or currently, dating and looking for women, they will not only protect that man at all costs, but they will help craft a lie to lure in a woman. Why do they do that? Because women are the prize. Women are the prize, period. No discussion. No, women are the prize, and everybody knows it. But society has to make women believe that they are not the prize. So women will lower their standards and be with these no good men. Because if women actually didn't lower their standards, which is happening now, which is why we have a male loneliness epidemic, these men will not be able to get anybody. So the family will lie with this man. The family will create a facade, a fake family dynamic with this man to lure this woman in, because without that facade, she would not take the bait. So I absolutely believe that that family lied, because they know that Tyler, not only could he get a woman, he couldn't get a woman like Ashley. Let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. She got money. She got a nice job. And they knew, had it not been for this show, he could never have been in the same room with somebody like that. So they knew, you're not going to do any better. This is the best it's ever going to be for you. So we're going to help you lie. We're going to lie about the kids. We're going to lie about the family dynamic, knowing good and well that you and that woman was booed up on Christmas in our home last year while the kids was opening up gifts. But they will lie and be like, oh, that never happened. Oh, she's lying. She's making those things up. We don't even know those kids like that. Lying through their teeth. But they need to lure that woman in. So I absolutely believe that that family participated in the lie. And I did feel bad for her in that. Because I myself have been duped by a man's family. Like, it happens. They and it's sad, but it absolutely happens. So I absolutely felt bad for her, because to be getting all this information and finding out all these things, and then going to your partner, asking your partner, and they're saying no, and then you hope as a woman, going to his mom, going to his cousins, going to the women in his family, that they would woman to woman you. You don't expect them to lie and manipulate you for him. But nobody protects men more than the women in his family. Nobody protects men more than a woman in his family. That's why that uncle that you can't leave a child around by themselves, that's why he's able to go on and live a healthy and happy life in society, because the women and the men and that family will never stop him from harming anyone with else in the family, because they've made him a priority over everybody else. Not even the kids are safe. So I believe it. I believe that he lied, and I did feel bad for her, because I've been there. And it's not fun when you find out that an entire bloodline is lying and manipulating you to be with their no good family member. It does happen, especially the best friends. So I believe her with that. I think what happened with Tyler and his baby mom is that they were friends and they started playing house. I think that's what happened. They were friends and they started playing house. I think it probably happened after they had consensual sex and conceived the twins. Here's the thing. I don't believe they slept together one time. I think they crossed the lines within their friendship. Lines became blurred and they started playing house. And his best friend, who is a stud, started to have questions. And with those questions, shame was brought in, which is why she's told part of her story and not the full story. Then, when she told the story and everybody was just like, this is not adding up, this is not making sense, she's just like, you know what? Well, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you the rest of everything. And the only reason why I was holding back this information was because I'm ashamed. And here is why. We as a society put people in these labels, and if you have to fit in this label, if you don't fit in that label, the community that you have made will ostracize you. So she probably felt like, I'm going to be looking like, somebody that's not a real lesbian, that somebody that's not really attracted to women, like I'm faking it, I'm going back and I'm trying to play straight, or, whatever was happening in her, she said that she felt shame and she didn't want to tell the true story. But what I think happened is with the both of them, when they had sex the first time, they probably enjoyed it. And sex coming into that friendship, that closeness that they both had, and then blur the line and bring in sex. Now they know each other in a different, intimate way. It changes the dynamic of that relationship. So she probably was becoming more effeminate and submissive to him. And, he was probably being very confused and probably ashamed to like somebody so masculine presenting, because then what does that say about him and his sexuality? And we know our community, the Black community, is not understanding, welcoming, or forgiving of people who fit in different identities, right? Especially when it comes to gender. So I think they were playing house secretly and they enjoyed it. And their little family worked until it didn't. So I don't think that the both of them are telling the full story, because the full story brings in shame. Because if they tell the full story, the community that they reside in will not treat them kindly. And that is the fault of the Black community. But I absolutely believe that they did not have sex one time and conceived twins. Not saying that can't happen. I'm saying they were in a full-blown relationship, and neither one of them want to tell the truth because how each person identifies. That's what I believe. Then we get to a point in the interview when AD is like asking Ashley, because Ashley would say, well, I found some things that made me believe that, the both of them was lying about this relationship, and that things were not what they appeared or not what the both of them told me it was. Here's my only issue with Ashley with discussing what she found on Tyler's computer and just discussing Tyler's relationship with his best friend. My issue with that is the woman, Tyler's best friend, the mother of his children, is not there. So yes, you can talk about Tyler because that was your husband, that's your relationship with, and you both invited us into your relationship, right? The baby mom, although she invited us into the situation that she had with Tyler, she invited us into that because she felt like he was not being honest about their children. She invited us into that. She did not invite us into their intimate relationship. And I felt like she should not have spoken on that, especially when that woman has expressed that she felt shame for that relationship even coming about and even engaging in sex with a man. So that's why I felt like with Ashley, where she crossed the line for me with that, because I'm just like, you are talking about how these women, specifically these Black women, did not protect you on the show. Well, you're not protecting this Black woman, because you're telling her business and things that she has expressed she did not want to discuss because of what she's dealing with internally concerning her identity and how she presents in both of the communities that she is a part of. So you want protection, but then you're not giving protection. You want to victimize yourself, but then you are becoming the oppressor to someone that you as a straight Black woman have more privilege than. So that was like the little conflicting thing for me there in that situation. But she did say that she found her own information, right? She said that Tyler left his computer and she went through his computer and she found basically what I believe is videos of them. She found Google Meets of them. I think she probably found some sexually suggestive things, but I think she also found videos of them, as a family, looking like a family, um, looking like a family with traditional Christian American gender roles. And I also think that she, in those conversations, she saw how they were talking to each other, like they were booed up in a relationship. And that right there was the information that she needed to be like, okay, this isn't what it is. And nobody's telling me the truth. His family isn't telling me the truth. He's not telling me the truth. And she's not being honest about the relationship. So she said that she found that information and she was just like, I found what I needed. I saw what I needed to see to realize that this guy is just a liar. Because she said even when she presented the videos to him, Tyler was just like, what you're seeing is not really true. And she's just like, what are you saying? Like, I'm showing you this and you're not even admitting it. And then later saying he didn't want to admit to it because he didn't want to create bigger issues with them. But I honestly think that he just said that. I honestly think that Tyler didn't admit to anything because I think men like that know that you're just with them for the status symbol that is marriage. Like, he knows that you're out of his league. So if you're looking at him, committing to him, submitting to him, he knows that you're also there for something else and he is not the actual catch. It is the status symbol that marriage gives you. That is why you're there. So he's just like, I can lie to you. I can talk to you any kind of way because you're not really here for me. I am just the guy that came along in your plan when you were ready for marriage, which is what happens with a lot of people, men as well. So that's what I believe. I believe that he was just like, he can say or do whatever because you're there. You have an ulterior motive as well. I also did see in Ashley some woman to woman jealousy with the bestie because the way she talked about her, like the way she talked about Tyler, I knew that there were still some feelings there for this man. But the way that she talked about the best friend, it was absolutely like you were talking about the other woman. So that just confirmed for me as well that Tyler and his best friend their relationship was a lot more than what he and the best friend led us all to believe, because she really felt a certain way when she would speak about her. And I also feel like she probably can't believe that he would pick somebody like that. Right? It's just like, this was an option for you. Let people love who they love. I will say this. Props to Ashley, because I think she was being very transparent about how she settled for Tyler. She was just like, I'll admit I settled. And I was like, there it is. There it is. Because she saw everything. She saw everything. Her discernment, her woman's intuition, everything in her told her that this was not it. But again, the status symbol of marriage is more important than running away from a situation, because she is a woman in her early 30s. What is she doing not married? So she wanted to fix that real quick. So she did admit that she settled for Tyler, and she didn't say it specifically, but the way she was talking about their relationship, she was absolutely the breadwinner and she was absolutely taking care of that man. Again, for women like her, that does not matter, because although he doesn't have any money, although he's probably not the most attractive guy that she's ever been with, he fulfills that status for her, that not only does it have societal status, there's also a monetary gain there in being a wife, not from him, but from how the rest of the world sees her. there's value put to her that she did not have before as a single woman. I will say I did feel bad for her when she was talking about at the reunion, and she says she put her hands in his hands and she started crying, and she said, "Don't throw me to the wolves." Like, you know, she also said, um, when she said, "Don't throw me to the wolves," he said his response was, "I won't, and I will protect you." And she said that's why she went out on the reunion and she was just so dogmatic in protecting him, because he reassured her that he was telling the truth. But here is the thing, Ashley. You said before y'all even got to the reunion that you had already had so many questions. So I get you wanting to protect your man, but you had the same questions and apprehensions that the viewing audience had. So you still made a choice to be this dogmatic in protecting a man that you were already questioning, that you were already not trusting, that you were already seeing some of the same things that the audience saw while watching it. Because I always like to give reality TV stars grace to a certain extent, because I know that we are getting a full view of their experience. They're not seeing what we see. They're not seeing the confessionals. They're not seeing the private conversations that, the men on the show are having with each other. So they don't really know the partner that they're with. We know that partner better than them. And that's why I hate, especially on Love is Blind, where they're just like, well, you guys don't see you guys don't see us off camera. I'm like, but we do see them on camera. And if your partner is comfortable saying these things about you, to other people on camera, then we can only imagine that off camera, they're worse. So, in a sense, we do know your partner better than you, because we're privy to information that you do not have. I really hate when they do that. You don't know him, baby. We know him better than you. That's why we're telling you to get out of that relationship. And a lot of them don't watch the show. That's another thing. And I talked to one of my friends who has been on a couple of reality TV shows, and they were just like, listen, when you do it, you just don't feel like watching it back. Like, you don't feel like taking the time to watch all of those seasons because you've done it, you're out of it, you don't want to do it again. And also, it's cringe to watch yourself on TV. I agree with that. There are certain shows that I have a really hard time watching that I've done, and certain shows that I've done that I've only been able to watch years later, because it is like cringe watching yourself perform sometimes, just because you're your worst critique. You're your worst critic, and you're always critiquing what you've done, and it's not an enjoyable experience. So I get it and I understand, but oftentimes the audience knows your partner better than you. But poor thing, she went on that reunion stage strong and wrong, only to get embarrassed by that man after the reunion, and only to realize that he lied to you, because you said, "Are you throwing me to the wolves?" He said no. He absolutely threw you to the wolves, and has yet to protect you. Yet to protect you. And you throwing him a bone and saying, "Oh, I had a breakdown because of him, and I went to the bathroom and I fell apart, and he came in and held me." That's it? Jesus. Oh, the bar is in hell. That's all he had to do? Mama, come on, sis. That's it. However, Ashley, I also want to say, you did admit that you made yourself Tyler's armor. Here's one thing that I've learned in the church that I will keep. Oh, only one thing out of that I won't keep. What I learned at church is that the man is supposed to be the priest, the provider, and the protector. I'm going to take priest out of there. No shade, but yes, we need to be equally yoked, and religious beliefs, political beliefs all around the sounding board, right? But priests, absolutely not. I that I can't rock with. I'm not going to let the privilege lead me. I'm sorry. I got a little bit more wisdom than you. The wife will sanctify the husband. So anyway, but I will keep this provider and protector. I'll keep that in my home and in my home and in my understanding of relationship that I want, because if you can't provide for me and if you can't protect me, then you just can't have me. That's just it. And that, like, the biggest thing, especially as a Black woman, is protection. That man did not protect you. That man did not protect you. And you made yourself his armor and went in and said yourself, oh, I'm doing it because he don't know what to say. He don't know how to speak. Why was he an option? Why? He don't know what to say. He don't know how to speak. That's your provider and protector? That's the leader of the household, a man that don't know how to speak? A man that don't know what to say? A man that every time he speaks, you're on edge because you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth? That's who's leading the home? That's who's the head of household? That's on you. That's on you. You should have never, the moment that you thought that, oh, I got to go out there and protect him because he don't know how to do it, that should have woke you up. That should have woke you up. So again, you cannot put that on the audience, because you said that you came on that reunion strong, loud, and wrong. That you fought everybody in the comment section of anything because Tyler doesn't know how to fight for himself. Tyler doesn't know how to protect himself. Tyler doesn't know how to speak. Tyler don't know what to say. Is Tyler a toddler? The way you talk about him is not as if he's a husband. It's as if he's a dependent. Absolutely not, mama. Absolutely not. So you speak up for this man, but you're cussing everybody out because that animatronic Chuck E. Cheese man that you married doesn't know how to speak or protect himself. You're not a mammy. You're not a Mary. And I bind up that mammy spirit in Black women right now in the mighty and matchless name of 3B Curls Palestinian Jesus. You are not a Manny. Take your teats out of the mouths of humanity. They're grown now. They got it. They got it. Absolutely not. Here's the thing. Thank you for telling us your business, right? For some, it's entertainment. Some things you can leave at home. Some things you don't have to tell us. When she told AD that she had to evict Tyler, she said, I gave him his 30-day notice and we weren't really talking because I was sleeping in the room and he was sleeping on the couch. I said, your husband was your tenant? Your husband was your tenant? Ashley, this is on you. I'm sorry. He can't speak. He doesn't know how to fight for himself. He can't protect you. He can't provide for you. And you had to put a roof over his head? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Come on, girl. At what point are you going to take responsibility? Like, at what point do you say, yeah, I was a nut? Like, that's ridiculous. You were the husband and the landlord. Jesus. I was like, oh, I would have never gave my haters that tea. Absolutely not. I said, you served your husband a 30-day notice. Oh, nobody marries up more than Black men. Ciao. So then we get to the point of the interview where it gets messy. And I'm going to be honest, AD, I cannot believe that you were the one that brought this up. Because again, I'm looking at this set. It seems very seasoned. It seems very professional. It did not give me messy, right? It didn't give me that you would invoke a beef with a YouTuber when you probably have the backing of Netflix. It just seemed low. And she's like, there were people who were rooting on your downfall, and there's a presence here on YouTube who was the loudest of them all. Listen, listen, y'all spoke that woman up. Y'all spoke that woman up. Y'all could have kept it vague to not only say that there was a presence, because they were talking about Black women, to not only say there's a presence on YouTube and there's a loud presence on YouTube who was, really rooting on for you and your downfall and going to get information about the kids, speaking to, the baby mom to give all this information and saying, oh, it's about the kids, when it's really not about the kids. It's just to incite hate towards you. I understand that. But what do you think bringing up this presence on YouTube and speaking about them this way, what do you think you're inciting, right? So it's like, again, you can't play victim while you're trying to oppress somebody else. AD, you didn't have to say that. That, in my opinion, I felt like she was wrong there. I don't think that she should have said that. I don't think that she should have brought up Jesse or Ricky, because y'all then say and she, so y'all gave us a description, right? So of course you put two and two together, you know who you're talking about. I don't think that doing that helps your argument, right? Because you talk about Black women, you talk about protecting Black women, and then you don't protect another Black woman. Even though you have an issue, but you can't in the same breath talk about protecting Black women and then you incite your audience to go after another Black woman. It doesn't add up for me. I thought that it was completely uncalled for. It was completely unnecessary. And AD, it was completely unprofessional on your part to do that. I just felt like with this podcast, with the backing that you have, I just felt like you would have been more responsible. And that to me was irresponsible. And that's when I feel like that was no longer production speaking through your earpiece. I think that was you coming out because your mannerisms changed. And it seemed like it was a conversation that you and Ashley already had. And it was probably one of your messy conversations and you brought it to this platform. I was just like, yeah, I can't rock with you on that one, because you threw the first hit. Now they have every right to respond. They have every right to respond. Every right to respond. And then Ashley says she was also upset because she felt like Jesse and Ricky, who I'm assuming that she's speaking about, because none of the names were said, descriptions were given, but names weren't said, that she was confused because they were coming after her more than they were coming after Tyler. And my thing is, you already said that that you spoke for Tyler because he couldn't speak for himself. So of course, they're going to respond to you when you are the one coming after everybody to protect Tyler. So that's my thing. I was just like, I feel like sometimes she gets it and then sometimes she doesn't, because you let us know that you settled. You let us know that everything that everybody was saying was right about him. But then you also say you don't understand the hate that you were getting when you were also saying that you were going after everybody because you were protecting Tyler. So I'm just like, you're so close to getting it, but then you miss it. You're so close to holding yourself accountable, but then you miss it. So close. You were almost there. Almost there. I do agree with her, though, when she said that people were saying, oh, they're making these videos about the kids. I don't think, anybody who is making these videos are making these videos to help, that were doing those videos to help the children. They were making the videos because the baby mom had just released a five-part series on TikTok. And if this is something that you have now made your livelihood, you're going to talk about a hot situation. So I will say that I don't think that it was about the safety of the children, because if it was about the safety of the children, you would never have brought them up. So I will agree with her there. It wasn't about the kids. It was just about the monetization, or the coin and opportunity that was going to come from having a viral video, or having a top video, or having the most views. Like, it was financial gain, because I think if they weren't making a certain amount of money from those videos, they wouldn't have done it. But when you're making this your livelihood, you have to go after those things, right? So if the baby mom, if you are making a lot of money off of Love Is Blind reviews, and then, or Love Is Blind tea, and then a baby mom of one of the people on the show says, "Oh, this person is lying about our relationship," and dropped a 5-part series on TikTok, you're absolutely going to talk about it, because it's absolutely going to make you a lot of money. So I agree with her there. I don't think that those videos were ever made to protect the children, and I'm never going to believe otherwise. It was money. It was an opportunity. It was money, and it was an opportunity. It's their job at this point. I will say this though. I hopped into Jesse's live. Jesse and Ricky were having a joint live. Hope I'm saying her name right. They were having a joint live. I was listening, and it got a little mean girlish, got a little catty, when they were discussing how Ashley said she put the culture on her back. Here's the thing. I get what she meant. And I think that they were purposely misunderstanding what she said, because one, she came after them. So she's not somebody you like right now. So you're never going to give her the benefit of the doubt. And also, Ashley doesn't have, she got a little nasty disposition, right? So it's easy to be like, it's easy to misinterpret what she says, because she's not the nicest person. But I will say, when she said she was on this TV show putting the culture on her back and being very mindful of how she looked on camera, whether we agreed with how she looked, presented herself on camera or not, I got exactly what she meant. And I think if she had a better personality and was nicer to the concerned Black women, I'm just going to say that there are some messy people, but I think a lot of people were concerned about her. I don't think people would have made such a big deal about her saying, "Put the culture on my back." I do not think that she was trying to seem like the Black culture lives and dies with her. She was saying something that we all do. We all know that as a Black person, you cannot go on a show and just be yourself. You cannot go on a show and just show up and just have an experience. You have a responsibility to the Black community to be your best self. I remember watching an interview with Ovi from Love Is Blind. No, not Love Is Blind. What show was he on? Oh, what show was that boy on? Love something. Love Island. Thank you, Lord. He was on Love Island. And I remember watching an interview with him, and he was so gagged, because yes, he's attractive, and he did, good. And people were like, "Oh my God, the hottest guy on Love Island." But he was like noticing that a lot of times when he talked to people, they were like so proud of him for representing Black British men in a way that is not normally seen on their screens. They loved how he represented himself. They loved how he worked through conflict. They loved how he treated women, because it wasn't normal, or that wasn't an image that is pushed out there of Black men, especially where he's from, Black men in the UK. So he also was just like, I didn't know that was such a big deal. He was like, I was just, being me, but I didn't know that was such a big deal to so many people. So now I'm very aware of that, of how I show up and how I look in spaces, especially on TV, because I know me being there at that time meant so much to people who looked like me. So that's what I interpreted as her saying, because we all do that, right? Even here, Yes, I carry myself a certain way because casting directors apparently are watching my show, my family or whatever, watch my show. But I know, and I think I told you this, I got a letter from somebody in Ireland who watches my YouTube channel. And they just loved the channel and everything that I represented. And I realized that this person never been to America, right? Never met a Black American. I'm the first Black American that they feel like they know or have some kind of relationship with. So I became very aware then of how I was showing up here. Sometimes I don't get it right, but I'm always very aware of how I show up here because I may be the only Black American that a lot of people who are watching me outside of the globe, outside of America, will ever interact with. So there's a responsibility there. So I felt like that's what she was saying, but I'm just like, do you not believe that that's what she's saying because she has a nasty disposition and you don't like her? Because that is something that all Black people do, especially Black Americans. We know that we have to show up a certain way because we are not just there for us. We have to represent everybody and we have to do it a certain way so that we don't close the door for other people who look like us behind us, who are coming up behind us. So that's what I think that she was saying. And I just felt like they were making such a big deal. She said she had the culture on her back. Oh my God. It got a little mean girl. It got a little nasty at that point. So I kind of hopped out because the comments were changing a bit and it was getting a little catty. Understandable because, they felt a certain way because this woman came for them on her podcast. And so I get that, but I was just like, I think you're purposely trying to misunderstand what she's saying because she's not your favorite right now. I get it. I have been there. But again, the same thing like with Jessie Wu. When I look at her, I'm always like, Ariana, what are you doing here? Because I feel like as a Black woman, as a Haitian American woman, there are things that she has done within the entertainment industry that has not been done before by somebody like her. So it's just like there's a certain way you have to hold yourself. There's a certain way you have to, I believe, but again, this is my culture. I'm Black American. So this is what is expected of us. So I can't put that on her, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So there's a certain way. So as I'm watching her, who is essentially in this aspect, the leader of this conversation, because of her prominence within just, TV and this YouTube space and just being known in other areas, she has a bit more prominence than Ricky, who is just getting started on YouTube and is very successful on TikTok. So she's kind of a leader in that area. I was kind of just like expecting more and not what I was seeing. I was just like, there's more to be expected of you, period, in my opinion. Because you got more to lose, in my opinion. But that's just how I interpreted the situation. So it was getting a little mean girl, and the comments were getting a little crazy. And I saw some Star family members in there being a little messy. So I was like, let me get out of here. So I didn't watch the whole thing through because of that, but there was some aspects before that I absolutely agreed with for the both of them. Like she called them out. They have to respond. They don't have to, but you cannot expect for them not to respond when you literally call them out on your platform that looks like it has the backing of Netflix. So it's probably going to go a lot farther than their videos. So yeah, they do need to speak on it. Now, in defense of reviewers, sensible reviewers, reality TV people do not fool me in one bit. This is not, like I said before, this is not the early 2000s. You know exactly what you're going to get when you do these reality TV shows. Everybody who signs up for a reality TV show is absolutely factoring in what this can do for them with concerning their social status, their financial status, and their job status. They're absolutely focusing on that, and popularity, money, and opportunity is absolutely fueling these people who are signing up for these shows. So you're not coming on these reality TV shows not knowing, especially in this age of social media, not knowing what's going to come with that. I am not a fan of when they play victim, because you are volunteering to be on this show. You are volunteering to be exploited on this show. It is not our fault that you don't read your contract. You're an adult. So you're making this decision. So to come on this platform and try to say that these reviewers and these commenters are not being fair to you and just being mean to you, and it's just like, are they being mean or are they responding to what you're saying? Because in the same breath, you're saying that you were not being nice, or excuse me, you were being mean to them because you were defending this deadbeat. So they're responding to your behavior. They're responding to what you're saying. And then you get up on another platform and you're just like, they haven't been in my shoes. They haven't been in my relationship. They don't know what my relationship is like or what my life is like. They kind of do. You went on a show that opens up your marriage or your relationship and your thought process to the world. So they kind of do. Like, you can't invite people in and then chastise them when they have an unfavorable opinion about your relationship or how you hold yourself on a TV show. It's like you have to take that with it. I am somebody who, at the height of paparazzi, okay, decided to go into acting professionally. And I knew that if I ever took off in a way that would set me up greatly financially, that I was going to have to deal with that. That I was going to have to deal with, magazines writing about me, favorable, unfavorable, and I was going to have to deal with the paparazzi. You factor those things in when you are working to get to a certain financial status within the entertainment industry. You do know, as you grow in this industry, there is going to be more eyes on you. And the eyes and opinions will be in your favor, and then half of them will not be. You factor that in. So there is no way in 2024, 2023, whenever she decided to do this show, that you did not factor in the community that made this show a hit, because the audience is a significant part of the show, if not more important than you as one of the players within the cast. Because if they're not talking about you, if they're not watching you, if they're not taking their opinions to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, if they are not discussing you, the show gets canceled. So your show absolutely needs these people to be engaged. I would have respected what you were saying a bit more if you were just like, I didn't like some of the things that people said about me, but that's the part of the game. You got to charge it to the game. Like, that's what this comes with. So I don't like it. It's not fun sometimes, but I knew when I signed up for the show that this is what it's going to be. Reality TV stars sign up for these shows, become a part of this production, sell their image to these people, and allow these people to chop up their image and sell it to the audience any way they want to. You absolutely do allow that. Again, it's not our fault that you do not read your contract. So when you get on there and you do the show and all of a sudden you don't feel like you're put in the best light, all of a sudden you don't like how the audience has a difference of opinion about how you handle things, now it's no longer fun. Now you don't like it. But when people are gassing you up, when the people are loving what you're doing, you enjoy it, you like it, you love the benefits from it. You go to these Netflix shows and these Netflix parties, and you're going on different podcasts and saying that you want to continue to do reality TV. Why do you continue to want to be in an environment where you say you don't like the audience that comes with it? It doesn't make sense. What you're really saying is, I want to do this, I want to be this character, and I don't want people to have a bad opinion of me. If that is the case, you can't do this because it will always happen. So you cannot get up here as an adult who has a contract that you always should get a lawyer to read over before you even sign. But because you are not in the position to do that, right? Because if you tell production, oh, I want to get my lawyer to look at it, they're going to move on. Because your lawyer is going to look at it and be like, I wouldn't sign this contract. And even if your lawyer said don't do it, you're going to do it because you know what's going to come with it. People are going to know you. You're going to get some kind of fame. You're going to be in some kind of way popular. And you would rather have that than to go back and sit in that cubicle and rot. So you can't play victim when it doesn't necessarily work out for you all the time. But then you want to reap the benefits from the show when it does. You can't have both. So you got to choose. And if that was the case, why do you still want to do more reality TV? You just want everybody to agree with the decisions that you make. And that's not going to happen, my love. That's not going to happen. I will say she did make a good point when she said that people were telling her to get up and leave. And she's just like, you can't get up and leave a marriage. There is a process. And even when she checked out and knew this was what she had to do, she had to still work. She had to still walk a certain kind of way. And I have never been married. I have never been divorced. I do know people who have went through that. And I do know of someone who went through that. And there was a lot of money involved. And when she knew that she was done, there was a process on how she had to get out of that relationship safely and still financially intact. So I will give her that. You cannot just leave a marriage. She was like, if he was my boyfriend, I would be out. I would be like, okay, good, separate, whatever. She's like, he's my husband. A husband and a tenant. So she's taking care of this man in every aspect of his life. And she has wrapped herself and woven herself within his life. And now she has to carefully weave herself out. Because if he ever caught what she was doing from the get-go, it could have got messy. It could have got nasty, right? He could have asked for he probably might ask for alimony. Like, you never know, right? So you do have to be very wise, especially as a woman, with how you get out of these marriages. So I will give her that. You can't just pick up and leave a marriage, especially as a woman. You can't, especially as a woman that's a breadwinner. You can't just pick up and leave, child. You can't just pick up and leave. One thing she also talked about is how Tyler played on her empathy. And we talked about this when I was reviewing the show. I was just like, Ashley and Tyler don't talk about anything but Tyler's trauma. That's all they talk about. And every time you see them in the egg, all she's doing is crying about what's going on in Tyler's life. She instantly went into Mammy mode and became somebody who wanted to nurture this man and protect this man when he was absolutely using his trauma to manipulate her so that she can only see the trauma and come in like women do and be a fixer, be a nurturer, be a healer, and not really see him for who he is. Because he would tell her these sad stories. All Ashley would do is be like, oh my gosh. Oh, that's so sad. I just want to protect you. And that's your problem. That's your problem. You didn't ask him about his job, the job market, what his job was like, where he went to school, college, grad school, what trade was he in? Did he own anything? His savings, investments? No. You're just listening to him cry about how bad his life is and how people mistreated him. And you're like, oh, I just want to hold you. Well, you did. You held him, you fought for him, and you got cussed out and beat up. Won't do that again now, will you? You'll let that man fight his battles next time. You'll let that man fight his battles next time. I will say she talked about therapy and how that got her through it, and she's in this much better place. I think she needs to go back, or maybe stay with therapy. I think you need to maybe up how many times you go to therapy, because when they were wrapping up the interview, when they were wrapping up talking about Tyler, and they were talking about her healing process and sharpening her discernment, and what she's going to do better in the next relationship and how she's healing. She says, "Oh, I got a puppy," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." A nice little distraction. She's like, "Oh, I got a puppy," and then she says this. She's a little, she's sickly and she has some issues, and the owner knew that she was sick and told me that she would give me another puppy, a puppy that doesn't have all of the issues that this puppy has. And I said, "No, give me the sick puppy, because I'm not a quitter." That's your problem. You're divorcing one sick puppy and adopting another. You don't see it. The discernment is not sharp, because you said, "I'm not a quitter and I like a challenge." Absolutely not. So you're adopting this puppy with all of these issues and problems when you were given a choice to have a healthy puppy or a sickly puppy. You chose the sickly puppy because you're not a quitter and you like a challenge. That is how you pick your men. You have a choice, but you choose the sickly one, the one that needs all the help, the one that is going to drain you, the one that you have to take care of and nurture back to a healthy place. You give yourself unnecessary work. Because here's the thing, it's like you think in this interview, sometimes she gets it, and then she says something to contradict what she just said. And I'm like, you don't get it, but you have the pieces. You're just not putting them together. Why in the hell? Also, as you're talking about how you want to go on other reality TV shows, why in the hell would you adopt a sick puppy? You're not going to be able to be away from that puppy. Like, you've given yourself more work. You sign up for more work than you have to in this life. You make your life so much harder than it has to be. That is your problem. I was like, you had a choice. You had a choice. And you chose the work, the extra work, the challenge. I'm not choosing no challenges in life. Life is already a challenge. Why would I add another level? Absolutely. I want an easy, breezy life. I'm not adding no challenges to this already challenging life. Anyway, we end the interview with her talking about how she wants to do more reality TV. People are going to have opinions. People are not going to agree with you all the time. They are not going to like how you have done some certain things or how you have carried yourself on TV. And that's what comes with it. So my advice to you is to get with a personality coach. You have sometimes a nasty disposition. You do not have the best personality for TV. You need somebody who will work with you and coach you to being more welcoming and more warming, because the best thing for you as a reality TV star is to have a dedicated audience that likes you. Because no shade, I'm just being very honest, there isn't a talent there for them to latch onto. So it needs to be your personality. So you have to warm up. You have to be more inviting to the audience if this is something that you want to make your life. You can absolutely live off of it. But you're going to have to be more inviting if you want people to have a more favorable opinion of how you carry yourself on reality TV. Or you can be the villain. As a Black woman, right now, as this nation moves into um, evangelical psychosis, I wouldn't recommend you do that. This you're going to make your life a lot more harder than it has to be. And I know you like a challenge, and I know you don't like to quit, but I wouldn't do that. So I would absolutely get with a personality coach, have them work on you having a more favorable personality. And I would probably also do a whole rebrand. Again, if you want to make your life, run this reality TV thing as long as you can, I would also focus on a heavy rebrand. Your audience is going to be Black women. And that's the best place anybody can be. The Black women are going to make you very popular, and they're going to make you very rich. They just have to like you. So I will work on those things immediately if you want to eat from this. That's all I have to say. What do you guys have to say? Let's get into it. What? Spencer said, girl, Jesse and Ricky interviewed her. She was married and everything when they got. Are we talking about Ashley? Let me know, Spency. Rashonda said, I had an ex who had a whole child and the family said nothing. Yeah. Because they know you're the best that man is ever going to do. They're not letting him get away because they also want to put their claws in you. They're vampires. They're vampires. Always prices that facts, and it works in reverse for women. After women get married, jobs understand she has dual income and is more likely to get pregnant and quit. Very true. Dahlia said, this is why governments become interested in marriage. They have a vested interest in keeping it going because committed families bring money. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dahlia said, as a woman who loves the Lord, it breaks my heart to see people treat marriage so cavalierly. I can only imagine how God feels. He's sick and tired of humanity, and I agree with him. Always Prices said, that's my thing with Love is Blind. Why y'all sleeping with these men? Y'all just laid eyes on less than 72 hours beforehand. And they get mad at the audience when we were just like, that's a very dumb decision. That's a very dumb decision. Miss Brown Sugar said, remember that was Wesley Snipes' character in Waiting to Exhale, pushing up on Bernie while his wife was dying. They played it as a sweet moment. But even as a teenager, I was like, what the F? Yes, your discernment. That is your discernment. Always Prices that because of B. Smith's situation, a prenup with a hussy clause and some additional clauses is a non-negotiable for me. Absolutely, I agree. Pepe says, Kinetic funded and gifted AD this podcast that already has a check mark with only 38,000 subscribers. Okay. Then they came for Ricky and Jesse in education when they both have degrees and Jesse masters in journalism. That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. So I was looking at this podcast and I'm just like, this is what you started with off grip. I knew it was something. It makes sense. Listen, good for her. Black women don't get those opportunities. Good for her. Be wise with it. Be wise with it, AD. Miss Brown Sugar said, except in corporate America, more employers than what you would believe hate to see a married woman coming. Why do you think so? Dahlia said, do you think that a woman's family moves like her? If so, what scenario do you see it? Absolutely, a woman's family moves like her. That's why the kid is normally happier to be with the mother side of the family, because the woman, again, naturally is just the nurturer, the carer, the provider, and those emotional aspects. And then when she gets with somebody who's a deadbeat, she becomes the overall son to this child, like son meaning sun beaming on them, to this child, and the family takes on that same role. Nurturer, provider, the overall son to this child, they become the village. So the family becomes the village for the woman, and the man's family collectively all become the deadbeat. Because why is that man being a deadbeat in that child's life means that you, the mother and father, who are the grandmother and grandfather of that child, also step out of his life. So the man doesn't provide. So you, as a grandparent, you also don't provide. You don't have to see that child. You don't give them anything for their birthdays. You don't do anything for graduation, but you want a ticket to the graduation. What? We family. No, 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 no. Family is a verb. There's action behind that. If you're not doing that action, you are not family. Pepe says Ashley's tea has been all over Lipstick Alley a while now. How she's an arrogant, mean girl. Wasted 10 years with some boxer who left her and quickly married the next after her, and she was set on being a wife and having a ring. Yep. She does get that mindset that it is wife over everything else. Yep. Dolly said, talking about Tyler's family, they don't want Tyler either. That's why they lie. Trying to get rid of the bum. Tail is old as time. They were tired of taking care of him. They wanted somebody else to do it. Tail is old as time. Sarah said, absolutely have seen many families straight up grin and lie to women's faces for no good men. Absolutely. Miss Brown Sugar said he couldn't keep a woman. Allegedly, Tyler has caught up quite a few well-paid baddies to the point that they've given him thousands. Tricking on Tyler is crazy. Tricking on Tyler is crazy. Pepe said, you can tell by Tyler's mom he didn't come from good stock. He definitely came up in that situation. But let's be real, how much better was Ashley's stock? I mean, they presented better, but were they? I think her stock was just better financially. She seems to have a really good job, to the point where she was taking care of her and Tyler and had a home to evict him from. Denise said, I'm behind, but someone asked if Matt and Colleen ever moved in together. Yes, they did. They bought a house last year. Wow. And that's probably when everything fell apart. They could probably stay together as long as they were not in the same home. But when they got together, that's when probably all fell apart. When they were around each other 24/7. Yikes. Pepe said it was said that the baby mother was not telling the full story because she was married to another woman at the time in an active duty and could get in trouble. There it is. There it is. Thanks for that, tea, Pepe. That makes a lot of sense. Yes. Courtney says, oh, the full story is allegedly all 3 kids are his and they were cheating on them. Yep. They were being messy. Because I will say I watched the 5-part series from the Bestie, and she tells story. She was telling the story like Angela Oakley tells the story of her life on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So many holes, and nothing was connecting. Makes sense now. Dahlia said, this is why I believe in background checks and using my family to vet. Absolutely. I have family members that work in like certain government facilities. Absolutely run the men by them. And I also use my gay besties to my advantage. Check for him. Let me know what's really going on with homeboy. Ciao. You have to. I may not catch everything, but my family will, and they don't care. And they don't care if I get married. Listen, use your resources. Miss Brown Sugar said, I could even see her falling for his first lie that he was a sperm donor for friends one time. But I would have asked a lot more questions a lot sooner and asked to meet those parents, especially before you sleep with them. And I always say that with women. Listen, get all the information before you sleep with that man, because I know you're just like, oh, I could do this and get up. You will get caught up. You will get caught up because that interaction with that man, that intimate interaction with that man, will start to make you believe things that were never true. El Boogie said, I made it to where you saw my comment, but you missed the part where I said, I love it. Anyway, I'll be writing you a long post in the comments after this live. Thank you. El Boogie said, I'm listening to you and looking at Pilates and bar classes at my gym. Do it. It has changed so much for me. Like, even in the little time that I've been doing it, I am seeing a difference. Results are there. Always Prices said, "Ooh, now that is a great point. Men know when you aren't there because of their quality." Absolutely. They're like, if she's choosing me, she's in the trenches. She's using trenches. She's in the trenches. Absolutely. Yep. Tyler's preying on her desperation to be married. Yep. They all do that. That's why a lot of men are, pushing for men. The most debaucherous men you ever met said, "Oh, I want a Christian woman." Why? Why do you want a Christian woman? Because you know that Christian woman has been forced to think that her value is in being a wife. You'll never go to church a day in your life, but you want a Christian woman? Okay. Courtney said, "Oh yeah, y'all. Also, Tyler is still ducking the court. He showed up this time, but he was held in contempt because he still." I was said how embarrassing that he became a squatter. I would have never told this. And she had to give him a 30-day notice before he would leave her home. You think she'd be more humble? I would have never told that. I was like, yikes. I would have taken that to the grave. I would have taken that to the grave. And the gag is, yep, he sat on that reunion couch and was all but silent. Listen, Ashley, you did not have to do that. You volunteered to protect that man because you knew that he was not of the same value as you. I won't say value, but he was not in the same place as you. Yes, Connie, thank you. Thumbs up, everyone. Pepe said, "I don't believe anything Ashley says. Her and AD get on my nerves with their fake wannabe Valley girl voices to try to be palatable to a certain demographic. It's giving airhead." Oh, yes, Pepe. Tell your truth, queen. Sarah said, "The Christmas pictures came out before the reunion. Once that blatant lie of I haven't seen them in years got exposed, it would have had me mute at that reunion." Absolutely. I'm telling you, once he revealed that he had kids, the sperm donor conversation, I mean, even if he was just a sperm donor, the fact that he never revealed that to you and y'all were living together, having sex, that would have been a deal breaker for me. Because that shows you that as a husband, he is going to be deceptive in the relationship. And that's exactly what happened. NC said, "Ashley claimed months ago at the reunion that she had done her research at the time. Lies. She admitted that she was lying, said Tyler was a good man, Savannah, and then gave us her behind the kiss." Yep. And that's the thing. You can't give people your behind the kiss and then expect them to have compassion for you when everything falls apart. You can't do it. NC says, now present day, she comes out and says she's done the research and found out all the nefarious info. Research was already done by the audience and social media. Very, very true. Anna says it's very hard to feel sympathy for Ashley with how she was dismissive and spoke about the kids and how condescending she was to everyone trying to warn her. The baby mama's ex-wife. Child, he doesn't give you an animatronic Chuck E. Cheese. That's like the best description of that man. That's what he gives me. That's what he gives me. Pepe said Ashley could have come out on the better side of this if she played her cards right and was humble, but she stayed 10 toes down in her arrogance and audacity. Absolutely. Still, she was still doing that in this interview with AD. I was just like, girl, I would not have smoke for anybody else than the man that stood before me, my family, God, and the rest of the world and said that he would love, honor, and protect me, and he did none of that. Pepe said that's literally what Jessie said. She said if AD didn't indirectly call her out or clap back, she wouldn't have been as strong. But she allowed Kinetic to have her do their dirty work towards two Black women. Here's the thing: I felt like that was just AD. I don't even think Kinetic did that. It felt like to me that AD did that because that was something that came up in the conversations with her and Ashley, and she used her platform to go after those two sisters. It just seemed very unprofessional to me. NC said, let's not forget his colorist text that was exposed while the show was airing. He told his side piece, Ash is not his type look wise, but has a good personality. Ashley, this is who you were protecting? I did not know about that. Wow. Wow. BB Girl said Jesse and Ricky, or Ricky, is it Ricky, guys? Shared the baby mother's child's Venmo to help with child care. Child, they did more than Tyler. It actually, child. Pepe said, no, Nikki, two things can be true. Jesse sent the baby mama money for the children and even did a fundraiser for them. And yes, probably enjoyed the monetization as well. Absolutely, two things could be true. Like, yes, she helped the kids, but absolutely, it's a benefit to her. Like, I'm not saying that she's a bad person, guys, but what I am saying, those videos would not have been made had it not been for financial gain. And we can just be honest about that. We can just be honest about that. Miss GG88 said it wasn't about the children when she called them sperm babies either. Oh, she don't care nothing about them kids or the baby mama. She feels like they're the reason why she's not with Tyler. She wasn't trying to help them either. Because if she was, she would have paid her man's child support. Denise said it wasn't about the children when Ashley lied on the vow files and said that Bree had apologized to her. Basically, Ashley is trying to do for herself what she did for Tyler to clear her name. Absolutely, because she wants to make reality TV her job. And she realizes she has to have an audience behind her that will support her and will want to see her on more shows. Pepe said, I can see your point of view, Nikki, with the culture thing. But if that's what Ashley meant, why couldn't she articulate it like how you explained it? Because she has a nasty disposition. You're not, listen, a soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. You're not going to listen to or clearly hear or understand someone that has a nasty air towards you. You're not going to hear it. I said it the way I said it because I'm a nice person. I'm gonna give myself those props, right? There's not a nasty disposition over here. She has that. So you're not going to be hearing that lady. You're not. No shade. Actually, you have the personality of a DMV shift manager. Absolutely, it absolutely gives DMV. Absolutely. Denise said, what's wild is if they played this right, they would have been one of the most successful couples to ever come out of Love Is Blind history because that combined family co-parenting those kids would have been dope. The conversation between Tyler and Bree was friendly, and Bree was supportive of the relationship. She thought she and the kids were coming to the wedding. Can you imagine? Gold. Smart. Everything you said, I agree with. This could have been money for all of them. And what could have been even more money if they set the relationship up this way would have made them even more money was the relationship falling apart and them being open and transparent about it and saying that they came to this conclusion mutually and parting their ways as friends. More money, more eyes, more views. Like you get more. You can get more with honey than you can with venom. What the hell is fruit fly? Them damn fruit flies. I got some bananas. Only had them 2 days. Here come them fruit flies. Ah! And they're everywhere. Why are you upstairs? There's no bananas up here. Ah. See, Miss Brown-Sugar said facts. I won't even start a Love Is Blind season until I've seen enough clips from reviewers that is worth it. It's a part of the job. It's a part of the job. If we're not talking about your shows, it won't get another season. Pepe said, true, you can't just get up and leave, but Ashley didn't know this insurgent. Gag is Jesse and Simone were trying to figure out how she can leave unscathed since Tyler was a scam artist. So these two have been in it from the beginning with her in this relationship. How many videos have they made about her? And she had a choice. You don't see a pattern? You don't see a pattern, sister? She had a choice. Spencer said, I'm sorry, but the lights are on and no one is home. She thinks she's too smart to get played. That's Ashley's problem. I absolutely can see that. That's why I always say, you can never humble a man. So to be like, oh, I have this job, I have this education, I'm this size, my hair looks like this, I live here, I have this social status, I have this financial status, I'm a part of this class. That does not matter to a man, because at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, men are your oppressors. You're prey. None of that matters, because he still has more privilege of you just because of his more privilege than you just because of his gender. He will never treat you right because of the social things that you have. Because a man like Tyler can get Ashley, a woman that has a really good job, her own home, and will take care of him and fight for him to the death, even at her own detriment. You cannot humble them. They will not treat you better because you think you are better than another woman and have more. At the beginning, middle, and end of the day, he is a man and you are just a woman, which is why I constantly talk about women like going after each other, being misogynistic towards each other, women thinking because they're lighter, they're better, women thinking because they're slimmer, they're better, women thinking because they have a certain hair texture or because they have reside in a certain class or have this kind of education, or a woman that can cook and shut up when a man is in the room, and all of these things that we all fight each other about and act like we're better than, this was a big thing back in the day with church, probably still is, but when I was coming up in the church, the virgin, you're a girl that's never had sex before, you're going to get all the men are going to go after you because nobody wants a promiscuous woman. They all want a promiscuous woman. Who the hell are we talking about? Them horn dogs all love a promiscuous woman. What are we talking about, right? But that's why I'm just like, women keep on fighting each other over all of these things. None of it matters. You're a woman. None of that matters to your oppressor. You are all working too hard to attract a species that cannot get hired to work in a morgue. You're working too hard. It does not matter how white people see black people and people of color as undecorated gingerbread cookies. All men see all women as a fleshlight. It does not matter. You can be slim. You can have the best BBL. You can have no behind, a huge behind. You can have a loose coochie, a tight coochie. You can have this amount of money. You can have went to Harvard or Dartmouth, and it does not matter. He will still cheat with the shift manager at Wendy's. It doesn't matter. Because a Harvard chick with the BBL is the same thing as that sales associate at Steve Madden. It doesn't matter. You're just women. You're working too hard, ladies. You're working too hard. Nora said, for me, one of the most frustrating things about Ashley during the interview was her refusal to own up her part in all this mess. Like, yes, Tyler is absolute trash, but he never hit his red flags. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. She ignored everything. I hate that she takes no accountability. She doesn't take any accountability because she's trying to victimize herself because she's embarrassed. Like she even said it. She wanted people to get over how she treated them and be more sympathetic to the fact that this man played her. But it's just like, you said things and you've done things and you have to first fix that. Let's rectify that first before you ask for sympathy. But Tyler can treat her that way because he doesn't have to, because he is a man. Look at what he has. Nothing. And she still chose him. That's that privilege. That's why Black men fight very hard for white supremacy to remain in place. because they know if white supremacy is taken down, so is everything, every status that has been set up, every social structure that has been set up by white supremacy has to fall. And patriarchy is one of them. And patriarchy is the only thing that gives Black men privilege. They don't want that to go away. So they will fight to the death to make sure that white supremacy stays in power. Because if they lose that patriarchy, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Same thing with Black women. Don't have much privilege, but straight Black women don't have much privilege, but the privilege they have is them being straight. That's why they will never unite with Black trans women. Because if they remove the homophobia, that removes the only privilege that they ever have. And that's them being straight. So now the homophobia is gone, and now everybody's on the same playing field, and that privilege is gone. Black women are never going to fight to get rid of it. Give up that privilege, the only thing they have? Nope. Okay. Thank you, Spency. Spency said, sorry for the confusion, but the mother of Tyler's babies, and they interviewed the ex-wife. Oh, they were in it. Oh, okay. Now I see what's happening. Now I see what's going on. They were doing these interviews, right? And getting all this information and putting it out there before Ashley had a chance to create and direct her own narrative. So that's the issue. They spilled your tea before you could. And before you could spill it in a way that was favorable to you and made you the victim. That's the issue. I get it. Miss Brown Sugar said, yeah, I don't see reality TV in Ashley's future. She wasn't all that compelling on her own. You got a point. Unless she's comfortable knowing producers will always try to play her, they know her triggers now. True. Pepe said, honestly, I think Ashley is telling half-truths about her knowledge of the son and birth certificate. Imagine you haven't even met or had a conversation with your husband's baby mom or children. Absolutely, she's hiding it. Absolutely. She's creating a narrative. I don't blame her for that. I don't blame her for that. I wouldn't want people to know how, all the dumb things I did. I'm going to make it look like I was a lot smarter in that situation. And I think that's her beef with Jesse and Ricky. She could not control the narrative. And she wanted to. But when the information is presented, it's out of her hands. Denise said, I hope AD is able to recover her credibility from this incident. She seems to have alienated a large, oh my God, I've been on here for almost 3 hours. We have been talking, child. She seems to have alienated a large part of her audience with this interview, and her previous interviews were really good. I agree. The previous interviews were really, really good. This was not a good look for her. Because she just never gave messy. Now it's giving messy. And it's just like, do you really want to go get in the messy streets? It's brutal. It's brutal, child. Brutal. Denise said there seems to have been some sort of agreement about what would be said in order for Ashley to agree with the interview. Amber normally has decent research in the interviews and holds accountable. And I'm thinking me and holds people accountable. But here's the thing. I think this is her friend. I'm telling you, I felt like not only are they friends, but that they've had, because even Amber admitted it, they've had conversations about this already. And it seems like she spent a lot of time protecting her and encouraging her through this process because she's been through it before. And I also think that she was doing for Ashley what she wished would have been done for her when she was going through her issues with Clay in front of the world. Pepe said, yes, Nikki, I'm running backgrounds even before a first date, period. If it wasn't for my gay male friends, I wouldn't even know where Grindr was. I used to have him vet on that front as well. Absolutely. Even a guy I'm like starting to giggle with, I'm sending them to him. I'm like, who is this? What are we doing? And they're like, give us a second, girl. Oh my goodness. That's why Cater to You is one of my favorite songs. Like, I love Cater to You. But I know that there's life and death in the tongue, and there's just certain things in that song I will never sing. I will never. I don't care what that whole line. I don't care what my mama say. My daddy. I don't sing that one. I care what my mama says. She ain't never been wrong about them men. She ain't never been wrong. Nora said, at NikkiStar TV, it happens with Muslims sometimes too. This expectation that practicing Muslim women will put up with anything and everything in marriage. Thank you so much for giving that perspective. I only speak of Christianity because that's all. That's my personal experience, but I do know that it happens in other religions as well. Thank you, Nora. Blue Jay said, Ashley, that run around looking like a damn doll and who got money isn't his usual type. That woman would upgrade and soar your no lies told. But here's the thing, men do that all the time. Men do that all the time because that is a way to make other women feel special. They're playing y'all. They're playing y'all. I know she normally not my type. I would never be with a woman like that. But you are. But you are. So then what does that mean? Then what you're saying to me is not true. Because if you wouldn't normally be with a woman like that, then you wouldn't be with this woman. But somehow you are. But you're telling me that that's not normally your type because you want to leave a window open. So now because you want to create a competition between me and this woman. So now you got two women that you have at your leisure. Get out of here, boy. Get out of here. I normally don't get with big girls. But me and something just happened. That's that we just got together like that. This is another reason why you should also never listen to men, because every woman that they say is their type is never what their baby mom look like. Oh, that's not my type. Then why your baby mom look like that? This is the kind of woman I want. Then why your baby mom look like that? Notice how the baby mom never looked like the type. But she was right enough for you to plant your seed in her multiple times. You're a liar. You're a liar. A species that literally goes to bathrooms with a rusted in hole cut in one of the walls, one of the bathroom stalls, and sticks their penis through to be pleasured by any Tom, Dick, and Harry that stopped by that location doesn't have a preference. His preference is dumb. That's his preference. That's his preference. Pepper said, yes, Nikki, all the things women fight each other over are because of men and misogyny. Absolutely. I'm so happy women are starting to decenter men and choosing ourselves, being single and or child-free by choice. Absolutely. They can't trap you. I'm telling you. Offset, you, my baby mama, I won, fundamentally changed me. Fundamentally changed me. I'm like, they are trapping women with sperm. They are using their sperm as a weapon of mass destruction. You, my baby mama, I won. Letting her know that he has 3 lifelines to this woman. So there will always be a way that he can get in. Cardi stands strong. You got that fine brother with all that coin. Stand strong, sis. Stand strong. Miss Brown Sugar said one of the two started with story time with Ricky releasing tea on all casts like usual. Then Jesse Wu and Ricky teamed up on a few interviews and deep dives. Then Simone Redwine, Ready to Love. Oh. Interesting. C. Golden said, yep, that's why Black women hold on to that pulpit so tight. Absolutely. That's all they got. Then Miss Brown Sugar said, too, did a few legal explainer with Jesse and Ricky. Tyler repeated lies, ways to protect Ashley's assets, suggestions for how to get a quickie divorce based on fraud. Oh, they did some good stuff. I think she was mad because she couldn't control the narrative. I think she did that. Hey, Johnny's acting channel. Thank you for being here. And thank you. Denise said, I think Ashley should embrace her villain arc and go on Traders. I think that would be a great idea if we had a liberal president. I just feel like where everything is right now, that's not safe for a Black woman to embrace that kind of image. Simply Simone says, same thing with African women. Divorce is frowned upon and the push for the couple to stay together. Child not. Absolutely. Absolutely. Priscilla said, also when Beyonce saying, I'd rather die young than live my life without you. Nah, I never sang that. I don't care if we're on the run, just as long as I am next to you. Beyonce, you out of your damn mind. And I love you, sister. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Pepe said when they did a video about his text about his type, they showed his current and past TikTok likes, and it was all biracial, racially ambiguous women like him and his baby mom's side. He fed you to the wolves. Spency said when Offset said that, I said, oh, he is awful. And this how men think. Same thing. I was like, what? That is why when you decide to leave them, they hop out the kid's life, because that is the only way they can get you back. That is the only way they can have contact with you. A lot of them literally do that. It's not, oh, he don't want to be in his child's life. It wasn't never about the child. It's about you. You are the, see, if you're not thinking that you're the prize, you'll get that. You are the prize the whole time. And when he no longer has access to you, it's a wrap. He steps out of the kid's life. Your life and the kid's life. He doesn't want to do it anymore. But if he's out of that kid's life, you are then running after him because you're seeing how it's affecting your child emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. So you're running after this guy, trying to get him to do right. And he absolutely loves that because that is the only way he can have access to you. And then slowly he starts to play, and then slowly you guys are start to play house together, right? Where he's like, oh, can I, I'll come over for Christmas. I got some gifts to give the kid. Okay, you can come over for Christmas. Why are you coming over for Christmas at 7 p.m.? So you can spend a couple of hours with the kid and they'll be like, oh, it's getting a little late. Sleeping on the couch. Oh, my back is hurting. Oh, why can't we sleep in the same bed? We done already did it before. And the next thing you know, you start going back into the cycle, how it used to be. And that's all he wanted the entire time. But he used his child as a way to continue to keep access to you. You're my baby mama. I won. A diabolical line. A diabolical line. Just John said, I still can't get over Tyler taking his former fiance to the gender reveal for the first child and not telling her it was his child. Oh my God, he was terrible. I hate the fact that he had all of these women. Like, this is insane. Absolutely. That's normally where you go after Love is Blind. So I absolutely think that she will be on that. And I think AD is absolutely advising her in that way. And I think she kind of wants the AD glow up. You know, look, it's working out well for her. And she even said it. Ashley said, look at you. Look how everything turned out for you. She wants that. Denise said, yep, Tyler has potentially sociopathic tendencies. I absolutely agree. That's all the questions, all the comments I'm going to get, because guys, we've been here for almost 3 hours. We had a lot to talk about. This was a fun live. I enjoyed this. I will be back here on Monday to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, 90 Day Fiance, and Love After Lockup, and the Never Ever Mets. So I'll probably just do 2 lives because I like to keep Atlanta separate. But thank you all so much for joining me on tonight, and I will see you on Monday. Love you. Bye. Remember to like this video. The likes help your girl grow in the YouTube algorithm. And you know what? Let's get the monetization going. Let's not play these games. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you Monday. Bye.